All right, welcome back everyone to another episode of Terminally Online, where we try to figure out what the fuck is actually going on. So today we are gonna go back and dive into Sweet Baby Inc. because obviously that isn't over. But what I would like to do first is really briefly. Oh, okay. Well, first of all, Opera is crashing like crazy, so I will try to save it before it crashes. I'm not sure. Some tab somewhere is like leaking like crazy, and I have no idea what tab it is and why. And it just simply closes out once it takes like 15 gigabytes of space. I have no idea why. So let me try to save it first. In the meanwhile, really briefly, there's a couple of things I guess we'll go over in the interim. In fact, let me actually close it one more time now that I've shut down everything. See if that frees it up because it. I had it. I had it. I think it's YouTube and Twitch makes it eat up a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't know why, and I'm not sure how to stop it. But anyway, let me pull this back up. Okay, and hopefully we can get it to work properly. I think after this, I'm gonna go reboot, maybe tonight or something. Let's see. All right, so let's get a move on. Let me turn on my fourth monitor so that way I can actually slide stuff over, and let's talk about it. So actually, before we talk about that, I know, right? Like that's the main meat. Let's talk about something that's actually maybe funny, but maybe a little bit more depressing than anything else. I want to talk about, if I could get it to open, Star Wars Battlefront collection, or the classic collection, right? So everyone knows what Star Wars Battlefront is. It's probably the most popular Star Wars video game. Especially the original two, which were made way, way back when I was a kid. The first one I believe was made in 2005, and the second one I believe was made in 2006. So they're pretty old, right? I remember the first game didn't have content from Battlefield 3 or Battlefront. Episode 3, and the second one addressed that because at the time Episode 3 had not come out. And so they made a second game with Episode 3 and some changes like playable heroes and stuff like that. And so recently, there was the whole EA thing. There was the Free Radical one that got canceled, right? So recently, they released it. Literally, like at this point, 3 days ago, on the 14th of March, 2024. It is a complete, colossal, and utter disaster. I actually went over a little bit of it last night on the Fear 2 the Fear playthrough part 2, which I haven't even rendered, so you're going to see this probably before I put that up. But yeah, it's apparently really bad, and I've seen a little bit of gameplay. It looks terrible. People are connection glitching back and forth. Grenades are invisible, right? There's like no servers, right? Servers crashing or lagging out, and it's $35. So mind you, this is like a collection of games released in 2024. It's supposed to be like a remaster, right? Now again, maybe it's not bundled or it wasn't sold as a remaster, in which case that's pretty bad anyway. Why is it that they're re-releasing games that literally are like 20 years old? They didn't up the graphics, they didn't combine the games together. You literally pick which game you want to play. Like, apparently there's a little bit of content in Battlefront 1 that is not in Battlefront 2. And I guess if that's the case, like, okay, sure, fine. I get that. Maybe you just really want that classic Battlefront 1 style. But does anyone prefer 1 to 2? Like, actually? I feel like Battlefront 2 has, like, all this stuff. There's, like, apparently Bespin is not in Battlefront 2. It had to be modded in. That's I don't know, maybe that's it, maybe there's a few more things. Why not just add it to Battlefront 2 and just, I don't know. I think the UI is a little bit cooler in Battlefront 1, but that's a little bit opinionated. I could live without that. So it's like, dude, how did this happen? And this cost $35. Now, I actually looked last night on Xbox. I guess I'm taking away my third monitor. And Battlefront does not cost that much on Xbox. In fact, well, like I said on that episode, I'm gonna go into the Xbox store. I'm gonna show you because it's absolute insanity that they really charge $35 for this. So what other reason is there to fucking do this than just to take money from people who like Battlefront? Like, seriously. Like, so here we go. Let's go over to Xbox real fast. Right? Not that. Not that. Here we go. So, let's go over to Xbox real fast. As you can see, Battlefront 2 is only $9. Battlefront 1 is only, oh, I'm sorry, it's not 9. It's more like 10, 10, 20 or something with tax where I live, right? And I'm on the upper end because I live in fucking New York like an asshole. So it's going to be closer to about like 10, maybe 10.50 or 10.20, 10 something dollars, right? Over here, it's like $10. Let's even round up. Let's say it's $11 total for both of these games. It's still like $12 or $13 less than what you'll pay for this. So right off the bat, it like there might not be online, but as we'll see in here, it's got 2 stars, right? Like people do not like this, okay? People do not enjoy this. So once again, we have decades old video games which collectively were like 3 gigabytes and like 4 gigabytes. It's now 57, almost 60 gigabytes just to play a classic collection. Where did all that space go? Where, like, what did they spend it on? They didn't upgrade the models. They didn't change anything about it. It still looks exactly the same as it did on the PS2. Nothing's changed about it. You know how they're like with the GTA collection, they use like AI to upgrade the models or some shit. Like I think they did. Maybe they didn't. I could be wrong. But even if they did, like, why wouldn't they at least use something to upgrade these models? Like, why wouldn't they do that? Like, look, I'm not saying this looks bad. I could recognize it, for it at its time. It was literally one of the top peak games, especially if you were into Star Wars. But, like, why wouldn't they fix this? Or change it? Or make it better? Why the fuck would they leave it as is? It makes no sense to me. Absolutely none. That they couldn't make these characters look like they existed in 2022. Like, I don't understand. And like, apparently that's just not something that was really high on the priority, and like, I don't know. So obviously we go to the ratings, right? And look, see, you must own the product to add a rating, so I can't add a rating. They're not getting flooded, right? But like, look at this. I don't know who gave it a 5-star. Genuinely, I have no fucking clue. But yeah, see, here we go. They ruined Galactic Conquest just by the originals. You could pause if you want to read some of this, right? Only to be disappointed by a sorry modded port. I caught you devs. In the loading screen, you see an old bootleg version of this game. Oh my god. Wow, the dedicated servers are full and the rest are just barely playable. Like, they really launched this with, like, no servers. Like, at all. Do not buy. Garbage. Don't buy until serious improvements are made. Why they changed the beeps. I want to, like, I'll briefly tab through some of this. It's an obvious cash grab, right? Because listen, here's the thing. They know that there is a core group of Star Wars fans out there that are not happy with the direction of Star Wars. And so they're also not happy with the direction of most Star Wars games, right? And especially the Battlefront collection. This is why when EA was doing their stupid shit, like, oh, well, you need to play for like, 10, 12 hours to unlock a hero so you could play as a hero in Battlefront 2, and they got completely blasted back. Like, this is exactly why, because the idea that they could re-release Battlefront 1 and 2, the games people love and still hold as like a golden standard, is like, it's a pipe dream, bro. These companies will never let it happen. They first of all, they don't even understand fun. So you're asking them to re-release some of the most fun games. I'm not saying the best games. I'm saying games that are just fun. If you were a Star Wars fan, bro, you knew what this game was. You know what was going on in this game because it was fucking cool. On the heel of Revenge of the Sith, this shit was fucking cool, bro. And they didn't add anything really to the game at all. So it's like, you would think, okay, well, maybe they should have just made Battlefront 3. But, like, can they make Battlefront 3? Remember, this is Aspyr. They're supposed to make fucking Knights of the Old Republic remake. If this is what they have in store, then no. I don't trust them to make it. And I didn't trust them before. I especially knew something was off when they hired Sam Maggs to fucking, write the story or write for something on it. And now they can't even put out a 20-year-old game. Think about that. This game is 20 years old. 20 years old for the first game, and like 19 or 18. Yeah, you were the chosen one. No, they weren't. And I'm not kidding when I say it goes on and on and on and on and on. I think a 3-star. This is the highest rating I've personally seen. I don't know where these 5 stars are. I genuinely don't. 3-star again. They ruined a perfect game. So bad, don't buy. It's just a cash grab. It's one of the biggest cash grabs I think we've seen all year. Like I even said, like, is this like a Bitcoin miner? Like what the fuck is going on here? Why would they fucking ruin this? Why is Aspir not the one getting layoffs? This is awful. This is terrible. And like if you want, you could go look at gameplay of it. It's absolutely bad. You could tell that they cherry picked the trailer footage, right? But people are pissed for what it is. And I mean they have every right to be, right? But you're not allowed to comment or, say anything about, oh well, they're trying to sell us really shitty products. That's apparently bad, bro. I'm surprised they didn't just call everyone here racist. Like what Sweet Baby did. Everyone that doesn't like them is a racist, is a Nazi, is a bigot. I mean, like, this is the nice thing about customer ratings and reviews. It's like a real life Dark Souls like dungeon, right? Like you see a bunch of blood stains. I'm looking over the blood stains of people that spent $35 on this. And they're telling you, yeah, don't go any further, bad game ahead. Like, that's basically what this is. Yes, like for the amount of money, if you really wanted to buy Battlefront and you didn't already own it, either physically because you could put it back in your Series X or whatever, or just in general, you could buy it on Steam. The Steam version, as I already showed, I guess like I'll keep going through this, right, just for a few seconds. The Steam versions are almost always on sale, and they're almost always like really, really inexpensive. Yeah, three stars is the highest I've seen. I don't know if I could sort by EA did it in Aspir King 2. What should have been an absolute no-brain win for Aspir. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Discount invert achievements? None. Fuck you. Achievements and stats broken. You can't even get achievements. They removed Galactic Conquest. Anyway, you get the point, right? Like, I could just do this. Oh, wait, hold on. Was that a 5-star? No, it was just 3 stars going really fast. I've never seen these mythical 5-star ratings on this. I don't know where the fuck they are. Is it like a 5-year-old that bought it or something and just pressed a few buttons and it was cool? Because, like, you could do that on any game. You could play Minecraft on Peaceful. Offline is good. This is, like, the best review. It's barely functional. The offline... So, basically, if you want to play offline, they still removed modes, but at least it's more functional than if you want to play online. Which is the whole point. No online co-op. Yeah, anyway, no 4-player. No nothing. Split screen is dead. Fuck you. You have 3 other friends you want to shoot the shit with, like back in the day. Oh, it's a bit of a cash grab. That's it. That's the best rating I've seen. So I think we're done here. You kind of get the point. People were not pleased. I imagine it's similar on PSN if you have something like this. I'm not going to boot it up. I'm going to keep going. The Steam ratings are literally mostly negative. In fact, can we actually go to Steam.com over here? How do you get to Steam? I have no idea. I've never used Steam on the PC browser. I'm telling you. Oh boy, let's see. Oh, it's Steam.store powered. Whoops. There you go. So right now, oh my god, can I just search the term Star Wars Battle? Yeah, here we go. Okay, let me go back to the original tab that I had. Right? So where is it? Fucking Warframe is up here. Forget Warframe in the Old Republic. One of them's an MMO, the other's Warframe, right? Fallen Order is $4. Like seriously, just buy this. The EA front that everyone used to shit on until they changed like half the game is $5. Now I don't know how alive the servers are. I can't vouch for this because I stopped playing this years ago. But here it is down here. Like this is the week of its launch. Star Wars Battle, right? It's not even. It's look where this is. $9 for the for Battlefront 2 Classic, right? Dark Forces Remaster is apparently fine. I think this is also made by Aspir, right? No, this is made by Night Dive. Never mind. So it's actually good, potentially. Command and Conquer, South Park, all this other stuff is above it, and then it's above Battlefront 1. But that's because is anyone playing Battlefront 1? Like I've owned Battlefront 2 since the day it came out on Steam. I remember that. It came out in the summer of 2009. This was like one of the first third parties on Steam, as you could tell. And it's very old. There were basically no servers for it. Bro. Mostly negative. Oh, there we go. You send the storefront, but we do not grant you the rank of remaster. Yeah, OG is $10, and you get basically almost all the content. The online just isn't that good. Probably. This is where the refund begins. Yeah, like people, It's just sad. I don't know. This is the only dudes I see doing this. I'm sad to see people having it. In my case, it's still going to be a recommendation because the game works really well for me. So some people, your mileage may vary, but I don't know. If you look at any gameplay of this, it's gonna be rough, bro. This is yeah. I see people saying this is the biggest fumble of 2024. It really is. So, but yeah, I mean, like, don't ask me how they managed to fuck this up. I have this quote as well. Oh yeah, this was a screenshot of the Steam page, which I could have shown, right? Easiest. It was a 3 gigabyte game, and they took it into a 73 gigabyte unfinished game. It's 73 on PC, probably, right? Like, how? How could they have done this other than just being lazy and not caring? Like, that's insanity to me. That's absolutely crazy. But they somehow figured it out. EA and especially Aspyr can make the impossible possible. It's absolutely wild that they were able to fuck this up when it was just supposed to be like, even if you wanted to be like super anal and say like, well, they didn't want to actually remaster anything, you know, they didn't really care to do that, you know, they just wanted to port the game and just re-release it for people, fine. But like, really, they couldn't figure out like basics? Like, I'm supposed to sit here and believe that, and even more so give them money for it? Like, no. Just, it's such a mess, man. It really is such a fucking mess. Like, absolutely. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to point this out because it's both funny and it's also really sad. It's like you came and re-release a game that came out 20 years ago that pretty much every Star Wars fan who's been a fan since at least the prequels has played, known about, and had fun with. That's depressing, like, on so many levels. But, anyway, let's get back to Sweet Baby Inc. because this is only going to continue to get worse. There's not really much more for me to say. It's not an improving situation. They refuse to admit fault. They refuse to just even stop talking. So, I really briefly, I was shown this by Gundam Otaku because I was, like, in a rogue state. But thanks to that Star Wars girl, we do have a comparison of Mary Jane's face, right? This is the first game, and this is the second game, right? So, you might say, well, what went wrong, right? Well, the jawline. Well, it's the eyes in some cutscenes are really fucked up. These two kind of look similar, but like even then, I'm gonna be this dude, and this is what he found. I think he found both of these actually, right? This is what the model looks like. How did they go from this to this? Like, this just feels fucking gross, bro. Like, I don't know how they manage this when we have literal one-to-one models. I showed the Ada, you know, the Leon models. I showed all of that last week. When I think it's been a week. I showed all of that. Kojima, if I could find that one, you know, was one-to-one with his work, and he still is. The various characters of Death Stranding basically look entirely one-to-one. The only changes I really see are like hairstyle, which is fine. But like, how this is not the same. This looks like a sorry, like, AA imitation, right? I don't know how they manage that. This is really how she looks in game. This is not like a one uncharitable cutscene or something. This is actually what they did to her. I think it's frankly very disgusting. You know, you take this model, you take this lady, you say, and by the way, this doesn't happen to the men. The men look exactly like their models do. You take this model, right? You say, listen, I want you to play Mary Jane in this upcoming video game. Okay, cool. You take the model, you model the character after her. It looks nothing like her. She's over here putting her beauty and her self-esteem on the line, and the least y'all could do is, you know, model her correctly, right? This is not alien technology. If the Japanese have it, if the Koreans have it, if even people in America have it and have proven that they could do it, then what's going on, right? Like, how is this even possible? That's what I mean. Like, it's got to be something. It's either laziness at best, or it's foul play at worst. So I'm glad that he sent me this because I, for one, was never gonna find this shit. Absolutely, because I keep looking for it and I couldn't fucking find it. So like, why aren't they saying anything? Maybe they're just getting paid. Maybe they just don't care. Like why isn't any of this changing? You ask me. They could definitely do it. They just don't. They just absolutely don't. And I don't think a lot of them really give a shit. Which I think I would. But I mean, that's just me, right? Okay. So, since last week, some things have changed. Not really. Not really at all. Let's lead off with that. Some people tried to get the Sweet Baby Inc. Discord detected. It's the Discord detected group. It's not actually the whatever official Sweet Baby Discord, which they probably don't have one. They basically tried to get it taken down by spamming a whole bunch of saucy words and things like that. It's very obvious what they're trying to do is that, like, well, let's enter the community, let's false flag it, we could report it, and then we could say that, you know, members of the community are doing this stuff. So yeah, this is typical stuff, right? If you have a Discord, if you have a community, you know, they're going to try to invoke the wrath of Discord to try to remove stuff. I mean, like, Discord groups I've been in, you know, one person comes in, does something saucy, Discord comes in and like, yells at everybody over it, which is bullshit. Like, you shouldn't be punished for what other people do, but we don't, you know, we don't live in a real society anymore. So yeah, they tried to false flag down, the Discord group, right? Or it could be a troll, right? Again, do I think that this is what the entire Discord community is run off of? Obviously not, if they only have, like, literally 2 pictures of it, right? But whatever, I digress. Let's see. We had a Bungie employee try to defend it. I think he's since deleted his tweet. And Kenshirotism, which is one of my new favorite Twitters. Yeah, see, the post is unavailable. He was saying, oh, you know, Sweet Baby's fine, Sweet Baby's whatever. And like, I agree with him on this. Like, why would you defend them? They're going to take money from you that could have been used for advertising your game, that could have been used for paying someone to do a better job on something, that could have been used for anything, right? They're going to take money from you, a lot of money, presumably, and then they're going to leave you with nothing. Once your game is fucking terribly written and just horribly fucking maimed by them writing-wise, like Suicide Squad and all that, they're going to leave you to die. And then they're just going to move on to the next host, like an actual parasite. Like, once they have drained you dry of everything, they're going to just say, well, sucks to suck, bro, and then just leave. And then you're, you know, well, look, I mean, Bungie already been floundering with fucking Destiny. So I guess maybe on some level they can't do any fucking worse than this. But, you know, and by the way, I have no faith in the Marathon remake. I think it's apparently like a multiplayer shooter, but I haven't really looked into it much. I was kind of like, yeah, this will be cool, a remake of Marathon 1, 2, and 3. And I have no idea where that's going to go, if anything. But that's not really relevant to this. But yeah, they're going to just leave you in the dust. I don't know why you would stand up for these people. So, yeah, and they said it to only people I like could reply. So I don't know, man. Anyway, it's going to be a rough couple of years for Bungie. I mean, I didn't even like Destiny 1. So I don't know. They will happily defend these fuckers while they kill their franchise, while they isolate and alienate their fan base. And then they'll just be mad and be like, well, I hate my fan base. That's not how making a customer base works and keeping a customer base works. The idea is to keep them happy. The idea is to maybe not insult them on intrinsic qualities, right? The idea is to maybe not hire a bunch of hacks who just want to latch on and ruin things for people. And then, you know, every time you say, well, do we really need them? They flip out and they call you a fucking racist or a phobe or something because you didn't let a woman have a therapy session with 2 characters in Mass Effect. Huh? Okay. It makes no sense, obviously. So, let's go back to our good friend, the Sweet Baby CEO. Hopefully this is still up. Yes, here we go.
Hard to get marginalized talent into the industry, to protect them the way that we would want to have been protected, to lift them up, and to get them into an industry where they're too often shut out. And basically, I think to take over.
Oh, no, that's not good. It's a little bit of a meme clip.
Hopes that some really dope people will be able to lead into kind of a new era for an industry.
There's a little bit of a Karl Marx joke in here, too.
The same way too long.
There you go. Yep. Well, we force it in to take over. You know, nothing major, right? So we inject our stuff in because she had a whole therapy session about 2 black characters on a fucking screen, which is insanity to me. As a black person, that's fucking insanity to me. We terrify the marketing department into getting what we want. And then we also want to take over, right? We want to force our ideas onto this game, onto this piece of media. So that way, you know, otherwise the cancel mob will come for them. You know, you need to terrify them. I'm not going to replay these clips 100 times. I feel like I wasted a lot of time last time doing it. But like, you know, that's what I'm saying is like, they only know how to intimidate and make people feel uncomfortable and to yell at them until they get what they want. And they do it under what is unfortunately the very convenient method of running the race card, running the sex card, running the representation card is what I really should say. And they're successful at it because these businesses are terrified. They're terrified of a cancel mob coming after them. And this is something I've said for years. With Sony, there's a reason why Sony was over here, being like, we don't want anime games on our console, right? There was a whole phase of Sony where they were terrified of having anime games on the console because they didn't want to be Me Too. They didn't want to have someone come out and say, wow, Sony allows all these, these anime games to show up. So basically, if you weren't a big name, you got to go eat shit. And Nintendo doesn't care. So Nintendo just said, yeah, put it on the Switch. We don't care. That's more customer revenue for us. Why would we give a shit, right? It's the same thing here, right? It's the same exact thing. It's like why Twitch, years ago, Twitch was over here like, well, Senran Kagura is a porn visual novel. Anyone with two eyes could tell you it's not. It might be a lewd game, but it's no more lewd than, I would argue, than Last of Us, which has a blatant open sex scene. It's no more lewd than, I don't know, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth with Tifa's tits popping out in every scene, right? It's no more lewd than half of this other stuff. I mean, maybe it is a little more lewd than that, but like it's not in like a completely different genre of actually showing intercourse, right? You play the original God of War games, you are literally having a sex mini game with Kratos, and you could play that on basically like every PS or PS console that it's been out on. I think it's out on like some backwards compatibility on the PS5, but like, that's okay. So why is it not okay when they make weird Japanese anime characters do stupid shit and like losing clothing is their health, right? With no nudity, by the way. There's no nudity in Senran. It's just all like, oh, all that weird stuff, right? Nah. And that's why Twitch was like, oh, we're banning fucking Senran because it's a porn visual novel and it's really just some rogue mod who's thirsty to get fucking internet points from some fucking woman. Like it's just gross is really what it is. All right. There you go. Let's keep going, because I plan to get through this so I could actually play video games today. So, David Bedard, and by the way, GDC is coming soon. So, GDC is either this week or next week, so absolutely expect that something is going to pop off here, okay? I expect at GDC you're going to see the Department of Homeland Security got involved, right? They're founding a nonprofit. Maybe I said that last time. If not, then welcome to the new era, right? The Department of Homeland Security has like a grant for some nonprofit, so they're kind of funding stuff. I don't know. I don't think they're like obviously aware of it, but it is disturbing that money meant for Homeland Security is going towards like saucy gamers not wanting to buy shitty games. Like, I don't know. That to me is insanity. But I mean, it's not like we're using that money on Homeland Security anyway because of what's going on in the world currently. The ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which has just always been a bullshit organization to begin with, right? Between the OK symbol being like a dog whistle for white power or whatever the fuck it is insanity to me. But whatever, I digress. It's just a bunch of weirdos that don't need to be in positions of power. They need therapy. They need to vent their problems and talk to someone on how to get over it. Much like pretty much everyone that works at Sweet Baby. I mean, that's pretty much the gist of what I'm getting at. It sounds like a fucking therapy organization where a bunch of people who feel like they're not represented or that they believe in the vision of the not represented are going to show up and talk about stuff. It's like, we've had good protagonists in GTA before, or GTA, sorry, in video games before, right? Like, no one complained about Lee Everett. People universally agreed that the Telltale Season 1 was really fucking good. People universally believe that what is it called? The Walking Dead Season 1 was like one of the better games that came out that year, even if it is like a $20 like walking simulator at best. Like, people thought it was well written. People thought that the main character was interesting. They liked the choices. It was like Heavy Rain light, and it was cool because it got Walking Dead a lot of popularity. Same thing with Wolf Among Us. And no one really complained about Lee Everett being a black man, right? I think people more complained that their choices kind of didn't matter a little bit. Like, you add seasoning to the meal, but the meal is ultimately still the same, right? Like, that's what I really think happened. I don't think people complained about, like, Lee Everett's a black dude, right? Like, and the best part is that I think it handled topics like racism pretty reasonably well. Like, it's not amazing, right? But it's pretty reasonably well how that game handled. I highly recommend Season 1. Season 2, I didn't really care much for. That's why I never played after that. I was like, they just really want to milk it. They had like 4 seasons. I didn't even play seasons 3 and 4. I just didn't care, unfortunately. Like, I was like, okay, it was kind of a flash in the pan. And then Telltale kind of went overboard. I think they paid too much on licensing and didn't get enough revenue back. Like, once people knew what a Telltale game was, I think that Walking Dead was just a real spark. And then after that, it was Wolf Among Us, I think like a year or two later. And then after that, I just didn't really care. Anyway, that's a ramble. For the past 4 months, my company, Sweet Baby Incorporated, has been targeted by, here you go, it's a far-right harassment campaign / conspiracy theory. You know what? Hang on. I'm going to pull this up, and then we'll get back to this later. I'll find it. Hang on. Hang on. It's a conspiracy theory, boys. See, it took so long for someone to find this because you'd have to fucking play the actual game in order to see this. They are literally in the fucking credits of Suicide Squad. But nobody played the game. So it took so fucking long for this screenshot to come out because nobody gave a shit about the fucking video game in question. Hey, look, it's Kim Ballard. Hey, it's David Berdard, who we are literally reading about. Quite literally. Hey, down here, it's Chris Kindred. There's someone else in here I recognize. I guess I don't, and I don't care enough to. They're all written as writers, bro. They're all written as writers. This is like, what, 4, 8, 12, 13 people. Yeah, they didn't do anything to the game, guys. So if they didn't do anything, then cutting them out shouldn't make a difference, right? Obviously. They don't do anything, but you can't cut them out because they do very important work, of course, obviously. So anyway, it's a far-right harassment campaign. It's totally just, we're just playing sides now because we know that we could just shit on people for being far-right because they don't want diversity. And that'll get clicks from people. That'll get, whatever from people. They'll just be like, obviously, those fucking Nazis, man, they're just out of control, dude. They don't want to play a game where the whole purpose of the game is to disrespect the fucking DC superheroes and to just shit on all the fucking characters they love. And then we're going to turn random characters that were white black. Like, why the fuck is Deadshot black in this universe? It makes no sense. Just say it's a new fucking universe, you clowns. Like, literally, I understand Will Smith played this character, and you want to have the same race of character that played him in the movie that plays him in the game. But just make a new fucking universe, bro. It's really not that hard. Like, dude, he's white in Arkham City. And apparently he was in Arkham Origins. I wouldn't know. I don't remember Arkham Origins. I played that literally like a decade or more ago. Whatever. This is a tough situation for me, my co-founder Kim Belair, and our entire team and our collaborators. More than the frustrations caused by the harassment and the precautions we're putting in place as a result of that, the toughness comes from the fact that this entire campaign is based on misinformation. Misinformation so wild and left field, or right field, I guess, that it's impossible to even engage with it to combat it. So we spoke with press to clear things up about exactly what we do and how we do it. That's hence the Kotaku piece, hence the gamer, the PC Gamer, the Eurogamer piece. I think PC Gamer also had a piece too, right? We do such a great job. We're going to see what kind of great job they did, by the way. Adding our voices to this conversation felt necessary because what is happening to us is something that has happened before in this industry, and it will happen again because you get a bunch of hacks that don't care. But anyway. It happens not just to us, but also to countless other devs, players, journalists, and creators. Everyone has reached out to me with kind words. This is what you could do to help. Check in on your marginalized colleagues. Make sure they're okay. Let them know. I hate this fucking feel-good bullshit. You know why I hate it? Because the minute that someone doesn't do exactly what these people want them to do, they put them on a fucking blacklist. They shit all over them. This whole post is just... We got called out on our bullshit, right? People don't like what we do. We're hacks, right? All we could do is take someone else's idea and shit it up with our identity politics and our gen politics and all this stuff. And then we could just make it worse. And then when gamers don't like it because it's bad, then we get mad at them and we call them far-right harassers for saying, hey, your company is shit. So all the times a company has gotten flack for actually being assholes, right? EA, Ubisoft, Riot, Square Enix, all these companies, even Nintendo just recently, right? You see how they never come out and say everyone that doesn't like us is a fucking Nazi? You see how everyone that comes out and shits on Nintendo for shutting down Yuzu and Citra and all this other stuff, they didn't get called Nazis. Did Nintendo release a public statement? Of course not. Did they say anything about it? No. No one would say that you're a fucking right-winger because you're mad that Nintendo is IP defending and going overboard on fucking emulators. No one would say that. Nobody would say that. Nobody did say that, right? People were pretty universal, like, damn, it sucks that this got taken out. I saw a few nuanced takes about it. I don't know how much the Patreon stuff played a hand in it, right? I digress. And it's obviously sucks because there's no official way to play 3DS anymore because they dropped support for it. So I do feel for that as a games preservation issue. But you don't see anyone say that when EA is over here doing basically their yearly bullshit of trying to scam people on some game or another. Do you see fucking people at EA come out and basically say everyone that doesn't like our bullshit is a far right harassment conspiracy theory? Like, no, nobody fucking says that. You just put out shit games. And in the same vein, y'all just do shit work. Like, it's that simple. It's just that simple. At the same time, they don't do anything, so, you know, you should just ignore them, but then they do stuff, and you know, they have to exist. It can't be both ways. Either what you do is important, in which case what you do matters, in which case it's very valid criticism, or, on the other hand, it doesn't matter, which means, well, why do you even exist? Just to leech money off people? Like, damn, bro, like, get your cup ready and go sit on the street. But obviously this is more lucrative, which is why they need to defend it. They're trying to play both sides of the fence. They want to play the victimhood, right, from the fucking community, right? They want to say, well, the victimhood, well, we're just victims, right? We need to defend ourselves. Reach out to marginalized colleagues and creators in this space, right? And then on the other hand, they need to tell basically their investors, like, listen, this is a bunch of Nazis, right? This is a bunch of Trump supporters. Just ignore them. It'll go away soon, we promise, and you can keep giving us money and we'll keep making sure the cancel mob doesn't come after us, right? And I hate the cancel mob. I really do. But, like, after a certain point, there's accountability and then there's people being mad that a game exists because it exists, right? Like, if you want to make a game with ugly women in it, you're welcome to, you know? Like, I wouldn't say make your tagline like we have the most beautiful women around, but if you want to make an ugly game, you can, right? You're allowed to do that. That's actually the appeal of some games, right? If you want to make a game with pretty women, sure, fine. You want to make a game with fat people, fine, whatever. That's totally cool. But, like, at the end of the day, like, people want certain things. Now, they might not know always what they want, which is how you get situations like Dark Souls. But, like, what do these people do, bro? Can anyone tell me what a single game or a single aspect of a game that they have made better? Can you? Because Suicide Squad flopped. It flopped so bad on their next fucking business call, they were like, yeah, it didn't meet our expectations, as I showed multiple times. So anyway, did I pull this up? What is this? Yeah, here we go. This is their role. This is what they do, by the way. This doesn't happen according to them, but at the same time, it does happen. So, like, what is it? Do they do anything? Do they just write? Do they just submit empty blank pages so they can get a paycheck? I don't know, WB. You might want to look into what they're doing, because apparently if they don't do anything, then you're just wasting money. And I know you need that money because that's why you're pulling shit down and you're not releasing the Wile E. Coyote movie, and, you know, you're pulling Discovery shows off PlayStation or whatever, and you're doing all this stuff. You might want to look into axing these fucks. But if they do something, they're doing it badly. So you might want to look into axing these fucks. Like, what? You never can get by with bad work. You can never get by with bad work. That's just the core of it. Is that at the end of the day, like, if you're making a product for people, which is what a video game is, I don't know where we fell off the reins of, like, we make movies and, like, we just expect the people to show up so we can make a ton of money. Like, the product still has to be good. Like, I think people will always buy it. People definitely bought Suicide Squad. I mean, I'm not going to go run, I'm not doing the Steam charts thing. And all the stuff I did last time, we're going to pretend like we're just not going to hit it up again. It's probably not any better. I don't even need to look, right? They've had their sale. Maybe I'll look later. But they had their 40% off sale month one, which is insanity. Imagine if you bought this game for $70 fucking dollars, and then, like, month one the game is down to 40. I mean, then that's part of the fucking problem with a lot of games currently, is that they'll sell, but they need to make, like, a certain amount of money off of it, or otherwise it's not worth the investment that they put in. So then they'll say, all right, well, let's slash the price and hopefully more people will buy it. And then they'll just keep slashing it until the game is eventually like $5 or something, like $10, $15, especially on Steam. Abso-fucking-lutely. So, to me, you know, they're spending all this time trying to fucking, you know, to sell copies, and they're not getting anything from it. They have to drop the price by almost half to start to get people interested in maybe buying the product. Now, maybe that boosted their sales. I haven't looked, but I mean, like, the peak of this game was 13,000 people on Steam, right? The peak for most other games is like 100,000, right? Like, most of these games decay much slower than this game does, which at one point hit, I think the lowest we saw was 187 people. That's not enough to support a multiplayer game, or like a sufficient multiplayer game. There's old COD games you could probably play that will have a higher population than 187 people. So anyway, yeah, that's just the topic of that. Let's see. There you go. Let's talk about the Department of Homeland Security, which is going to be great. Thank you to fuck Korox. Yes, so the Department of Homeland Security funded nonprofit Take This posted an article about Gamergate 2. Now, if you know anything about America, we just throw money at shit. We throw money at the wrong things. Let me correct myself, right? We don't throw money at things that make Americans' lives better. We throw money at things that makes the elites' lives better. We throw money at things that don't fucking really matter to us on any level, right? Whether that's throwing money at inevitable forever wars, right? Where we throw money at, making things actively worse for people. That's how America operates. We don't actually make things better for the 300 some million people living in this country. None of the people in power really give a shit about that. So anyway, they're throwing money at this because it's Gamergate 2. If you're reading this, you're probably hearing about what's now being called Gamergate 2. It's the latest targeted harassment campaign within the game industry, as aimed at Sweet Baby Incorporated, a Montreal-based narrative development studio. The campaign has also been impacting entities and games associated with them, journalists covering the issue, and others associated in various ways with the targets. You may also be at a loss to know how to talk about this issue and what, if anything, you could do about it. That's where we come in. So here's your regime appropriate narrative to tell you exactly how to talk back to people that don't want any of this stuff, right? This is fresh off the presses of about a week ago. So I just missed it with the last episode, right? So Discord, Steam, and X have been predominant platforms where the abuse and harassment has been taking place. In these spaces, lists of game studios, companies, and associated organizations are being circulated for targeting by members of the mob. Large-scale harassment campaigns like this fuel and are fueled by political events. As political rhetoric heats up ahead of the U.S. presidential election later this year, this kind of online activity is going to ramp up, and it's important to understand how these phenomena are interrelated. Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. It's a little bit cut off. There you go. So, this second paragraph is pretty much the only reason why the fucking Department of Homeland Security would care, right? There's still this weird, mental image that gamers are this hive mind of, misogynists, racists, antisocial people, right? When I could tell you that so many people I know have played video games. I know people getting their PhD who played more games than me, right? I know people, it's the most unifying activity I think I've ever seen besides, I guess, reading, right? Even movies, I haven't seen people that much. But, we're just going to pretend that it's all white people, because that's what they're really trying to say. I mean, this last dude basically said the same thing. It's a far-right harassment campaign. They don't associate minorities with the far right, okay? Most minorities are generally assumed to be left-wing, right? That's generally how we see it in America. If you're black, if you're Asian, not maybe Asian somewhat, right? If you're Hispanic, they kind of assume that you're fucking left-wing. Let's be fair here. Let's cut the bullshit. This is inherently, it is a racist statement. It is saying that the people targeting us are mostly white people. And I mean, we could sit here and debate whether or not that's true or whatever. Does it matter if they're white? Why would it matter if a bunch of white people do or don't like your game? That's irrelevant. Who cares? Okay, congrats. A bunch of white people do or don't like your game. They're still people, but I mean, now you get into what they're really trying to say. They don't think that they're really people. And I mean, as a white person, I'd be offended. I'd be like, wow, so I can't have an opinion because you don't like the color of my skin? Bro, this is no different than racism. This is just reverse racism. I know that they cope and tell themselves it doesn't exist, but these people need help or something. I don't know if they could be fixed at this point. As scholars and journalists have noted, the targeted harassment, hate, and cultural norms that were at the heart of Gamergate in the mid-2010s never went away. People in game spaces, especially marginalized developers and content creators, face hate and harassment daily. In fact, research conducted by Take This has outlined an entire spectrum and topology of extremism and dark participation in games that is bigger than any one movement but underlies all of them. It can be scary or uncomfortable to think about. Dude, they're mad that people say the N-word in Call of Duty. They think that people who say the N-word in Call of Duty go out in the afternoon later or whatever and then hang like a black dude. They're hanging black dudes every day. That's really what this is. They're mad that like, oh well, we need to be able to police wrongthink on like every level inside of a game, right? And if we can't, and we can't ban them because that's what it was about. I'm not gonna go back to showing that stupid fucking image every 5 minutes. You could watch part one if it doesn't come up naturally. You could go watch part one, right? We want to be able to ban people and make them lose all their fucking access to things just because they don't agree with our work. Huh? All right. I mean, that's really what it is. In the same way that Gamergate 1 was, hey, 5 people are having sex with this one person, and then they reviewed their game. And that's bad because literally you're not going to get an honest review if they're fucking the person, let alone the cheating and all the other stuff, right? Whatever. I digress. That's for them to resolve with their families. I don't care about the cheating element, right? Some of them have families. I think some of them had kids, right? Whatever. That's whatever. And I mean, that's a huge whatever to step by. But like, if people want to fuck up their lives doing stupid shit, I don't really care about what they do with fucking other people like that. But yeah, they're basically mad about this. Yeah, there's things to mitigate the harm. Yeah, for starters, restrict freedom of speech. Basically, just don't have freedom of speech. It's a suggestion, especially when if you this presidential election is going to be insane, bro, in fucking sane. So they this is kind of why the government might take a little bit of notice because there's this association that gamers are like this right wing organization because they're white or whatever. Again, it's bullshit. But I mean, these people don't play video games. They're like the dudes in the '90s who are like Mortal Kombat's going to teach kids to go murder people. You know. All right, it's presumably important to speak out and step up for folks who are being harmed. This is what the last guy said. I'm not going to go too into this, right? Oh, well, you need to stand up. Yeah, this guy who was over here working for Sweet Baby saying that Steam should take away his games and should delete his fucking group because it merely points out the games that they work on and a thumbs down. Yeah, that's the kind of guy that you need to stand up for and you need to support. That's exactly what you need to do. These marginalized people are just over here like, oh no, this guy didn't like my work, ban him and take all of his games away. That was literally the 2 tweets that they made. They asked for game studios. Yeah, you might be inclined to stay quiet or cautious, but don't actually do that. So you need to take a loud public stance. You need to run propaganda pieces. You need Wikipedia to cite these propaganda pieces as if they're truth. And then you need to prevent anyone from the other side from having a voice, right? It's the most anti-consumer movement I think I've ever seen in my life. And it just gets branded over pure 1984 propaganda style, right? They knew exactly what happened, but they weren't going to admit to it. They don't care that these people, you know, are grifters, misaligners. They only care about stirring the pot and being a victim and making. Ideally, they want everyone to get banned that they don't like, which ironically would absolutely cause an industry crash because if 20% of people get banned off of all these services are going to be like, what the fuck? And no one's going to trust them anymore. So, like, instead of just taking it on the chin and knowing that the work that they do is important, the work that they do is so important you can never talk about it. And if you talk about it, you need to be literally excised out of existence. So, yeah, most studios didn't say anything because why? Because it was an online thing. They don't have to say anything. Why would they get involved? Why would you want them to take a stance and literally lose money? Why would you do that? Why would you as a studio be like, yeah, fuck the consumers. He should have gotten banned and lost his account information. Yeah, why would you do that? They're literally advocating for companies to jump on a grenade. Like, literally, not even like a Captain America fake grenade. They are literally advocating for companies to jump on a fucking grenade for them. So that way there's more authenticity. And, okay, anyway. We want to protect our community from Gamergate, so by being silent, we will avoid inviting it. Well, no, this is not how this is going to work. If you're selling a paid product, like with this fucking piece of shit, right? Like, imagine if Aspyr came out and was like, hey, guys, you know, we think that you're being unfair to our game, so we're just going to ban everyone that gave a negative fucking review, right? Which, at this point, this list could go on for hours, right? We could sit here and read this shit for fucking hours. This could be content in and of itself. If I really wanted to do it, which I will not. Let's just ban everyone that gave a thumbs down and said, well, Aspyr Media sucks. For a product that they paid money for, by the way. $35 before tax. Yeah, let's ban everyone who dislikes our work. I'm still going. It's 5,000 reviews. We're never going to get to the bottom of this, right? So forget it, right? Yeah, let's ban everybody. Even let's we're not even gonna say anything, but this is not like but people are smart enough to know this is not a fucking race issue. This is not a fucking, a woman in gaming representation issue, right? This is just they made a bad port, right? That's it. They made a bad port. They fucked up. They didn't do the work that they should have done. They made a bad port. In the same way that these fuckers made a bad fucking choice with the writing in this game, right? That's why if people say Aspyr shouldn't work on KOTOR remake, I believe them. I'm 100% in the same vein of it. Okay, anyway. So now instead of being silent and just hoping it blows over because it won't, because people are paying money for these products or have a lot of hope and excitement for them, and then they find out that the game has been ruined, the dialogue shit, all the male characters get treated like shit, the female characters get glazed up and told that they're amazing and wonderful, and the black characters or whatever, and just shit on because they're like cops or former army people or whatever. Like, yeah, no, that's totally fine. You're just supposed to take that and just consume it and just enjoy it, right? And if you remember, I was going to buy Suicide Squad. I was going to buy it because I was like, oh shit, it's coming out on my birthday. I think it was like the day before my birthday. I was like, yeah, this would be a great game to have a birthday playthrough on. I love DC. And then it got delayed a year, and then I saw more of the game, and I was like, oh my god. So this is why you can't get excited for nothing no more. You either get people like fucking, what's his name, Neil Druckmann in Last of Us. You get fucking consulting studios, and there's a lot of these fuckers, as I showed last time. They come out the woodwork and you don't get anything good from it. Like, yeah, dude, like it's not something worth doing anymore. I really think that that's the fucking problem. And then they say the usual hate, harassment, toxic behavior have no place in games. People who don't play video games, obviously. By taking direct, targeted action in a timely manner, we can mitigate further harm to talent. And then they have the balls to say that they're talented. Bro, they can't make a game. They can only take what someone else has made and fuck it up. This is not talent. This is parasiting. Anyone could go into a game, a well-written thing, fuck around. If I take Shakespeare's work and I fuck around with it, and then I try to say I improved it, right? This is not like Hood Shakespeare, which is like a parody or a twist. I take his work, I rewrite it, and I try to sell it as Shakespeare's Hamlet or whatever, right? People are going to be like, what the fuck? This is not Hamlet. This is some dude fucking pissed all over Shakespeare and is trying to make money off it. Dude, this is such bullshit. I'm sorry. I hate having to deal with this fucking gaslighting, bro. You will consume this fucking bullshit, as this guy says over here on the right. You will consume the product, bigot. Yeah, okay, just play the game. Don't ask questions. Inflation is completely fucking the money out of your wallet. Just buy slop, bro. Just buy slop by people that are talented, and the only talent they have was being born with melanin or being born a woman, dude. Get the fuck out of here, dude. This is Department of Homeland funded. This is Homeland Security, bro. They paint it as a fucking hate mob when all that happened was some dude in another fucking country got harassed by a fucking employee of another country's fucking studio. And they're over here like, well, he should just lose everything. Yeah, he put thousands of dollars into his fucking Steam library. Ban him. Fuck it. That's really what happened. It has nothing to do with toxicity and misogyny and racism, bro. Nobody gives a flying fuck. Nobody cares until you make it a part of it. Once you make it a part of it, bro, that's when people will care. When I hear her go up on that fucking podium and talk about how Mass Effect let her talk with Jacob and neither of them were terrorists or whatever, neither of them were criminals, that's when I will say, okay, there's something deeper here. It's not just bad work. It's got to be race-baited. It's got to have something to do with race. Mind you, Jacob works for a terrorist organization. I'll say this again. He works for a terrorist organization. If we had another game where a white dude worked for fucking, I don't know, what's a terrorist organization? I don't know. Let's say he works for a white terrorist organization. He could be the nicest dude in the game to you. He could save you 1,000 times. He could fucking literally bail you out of every bad situation in the game, and then at the end of the game, he'll sacrifice himself for you to save your life because, well, it's more important than upholding my terrorist ideals. They could put that in the game. Motherfuckers would still be like, well, he's still a terrorist. Like, I don't know if we could. That's Jacob. That's just Jacob with less melanin, bro. That's exactly what it is. What if it was a white dude? They would say once a terrorist, always a terrorist. If they worked for the Nazis, you would say, oh well, he's still a Nazi, right? Even though Jacob has a whole backstory of why he did this, whatever, which makes him a complex character. You didn't need to DEI this shit in. He just naturally ends up being a complex character. And then they even play into the trope of him being black and having an absentee father. That's literally one of the fucking quest lines that you go on in that game. Is like, and it plays into it. It's not a lecture on, well, white families are better than black families, or, well, black fathers are just whatever. It ends up being a very interesting murder, or not murder mystery, but like a mystery of why he disappeared. What was he doing? What's going on? How has he survived all these years? Mass Effect 2's story, beyond, like, or not the story, I don't really like the main story, but the story of the characters, it's like a bunch of small, like, sub-stories. I love it. It's amazing how well they establish the world. They show off, the other half of the galaxy. That's the strongest thing about the game for me. And, for this person to come in and say, well, Jacob is not a criminal is insane to me. Because, like, literally, they are all criminals. They're flying under the fucking Cerberus banner. And, like, Shepard argues his case, but you have to play the video game. This is the same thing as the Final Fantasy VII people who only saw, well, Barrett is wanting to blow stuff up for the environment, and they just ignore everything that happens after that. They ignore all the character growth. Well, at this exact moment, Barrett is the ideal character. Yeah, and then, like, 5 hours later, he hates that he did it. People are like, dude, my life sucks because of what Avalanche did. They even have that sequence in Remake. And I guess people are just so cognitively dissonant, they just fucking walked over and just ignored it. So anyway, yeah, it's all fucking bullshit. I'm sorry. I can't with this. I'm so tired of it, bro. No one makes me more fucking racist than other races. No one makes me more misogynistic than women. Like, it's not the fucking video games, bro. It's the shit people do to me in real fucking life. And do to other people in real fucking life, bro. That's what makes people fucking racist and misogynist. No one cared that Jacob's mission was a fucking, well, my daddy went and left to go get milk and never came back. Nobody gives a fuck, dude. Nobody cares because he's black. These people need therapy, dude. They need a lot more than therapy. Anyway. What was this one? Alright, this is kind of a retrospective, honestly. I'm going to leave that open. I need to start leaving stuff open so I could go back and fucking clip it. So yeah. Department of Homeland Security, take this, put out a document demanding game companies denounce Gamergate 2. We quite literally just read that. I think they're just going to ignore it. I don't think that any of these companies have any obligation to answer to the Department of Homeland Security, especially on what is obviously a partisan issue. When I say partisan, I don't necessarily mean left-wing or right-wing, even though they try to frame it that way. I just mean if you're pro or anti. That's all I mean. So, it goes back to this, mid-2010s, they can't take an L, they just escalate it. This is how, as depicted, Sarkeesian and Quinn took it all the way to the UN. Not that the UN really gave a shit, but, like, they took it all the way to the UN. Oh, well, women are being harassed because of video games and stuff. Women this, women that. It's always women's issues. We never talk about the negative male stereotypes in games. Like I said, does anyone care that GTA San Andreas or any GTA game, black people are always depicted as fucking whatevers? I guess Kim Bel-Air, but then there's alternatives to that. There's literally alternatives to black people being depicted as that. And even within that genre, these characters are well defined, right? So even GTA San Andreas, CJ, criminal, gang member, has one of the better plot arcs in a Grand Theft Auto series. They don't care about the quality of writing, so anything I say here is pointless. They don't care. People can identify with it even if they've never lived in the 1990s, like, California suburban lifestyle. They could identify with it. Even my family could probably identify with it, and they're way insane. I'm on the opposite side than them. Yeah, all it was people just said, hey, whatever. I forget what the fucking game was. Was it Depression Quest? I don't fucking remember. It's so dumb. The game at the center of it stopped being relevant ages ago. The only reason why Suicide Squad is still relevant is because I guess people could just patsy it. Nobody cares about the fucking indie game that they reviewed. Nobody gives a shit. People care more about this because it's like an actual official AAA game that Rocksteady worked on for 10 years, and it was a fucking waste of time. And the execs at WB have to know it is. They have to know. Even if they won't admit it, they have to be aware that this was a waste of time. They could have literally made another Hogwarts with this money and sold another $1 billion and advertised it and everything. They literally could have done that. But they didn't. They chose to put 10 years of Rocksteady's talent to waste in an always online multiplayer shooter. Of course. Shout out to Mr. Medicare, obviously. All he did was make a what was it, like a 10-minute video, and that was it. The avalanche has not stopped since then. It has not fucking stopped, bro. It's the same bullshit 10 years later, and it's like Jack Thompson in the 90s, but now we wouldn't care about Jack Thompson anymore, and we don't give a shit about that. Most people don't even know who the fuck that is anymore, because that was even kind of before my time. And so the only way you know about it is because it became a topic again of discourse once the internet blew up, right? Once you had forums, right? People will forget about the early 2000s level of forums, right? Like GameFAQs and NeoGAF back before when it was good and not cucked. And even just YouTube videos analyzing it, right? It was like a cultural thing to reference, right? Like if you played, for example, Night Trap, like they misrepresented Night Trap to the fucking Congress, right? Mortal Kombat's gonna make people kill people. Doom inspired Columbine, so they must be responsible. It's all bullshit. It's the same. It's the same thing with a different mask. It's like a Scooby-Doo episode. Anyway, Grums was completely right about this, by the way. Alyssa Mercante only... Oh, no, it's gone! Oh, shit! Well, this is why I need to do this nightly, almost. Anyway, let's go back to Sweet Baby. Oh, I'm sorry, no. So, Alyssa Mercante, in what is truly the classiest thing that they could do, is implying that there was any class, has made hi, you can't be racist against white people. Thanks for tuning in. Her banner image. Just swap out the word white for literally anything, bro. Swap out the word white for black, Asian, Jewish, Hispanic. Swap out, whatever. You can't be racist against, or you can't be sexist against women. You can't, you can't be phobic against gays or whatever, right? Like, swap out anything. It becomes instantly uncool. It's okay to be racist to white people. And white people just take it. White people just sit down and they just take this shit, bro. They just sit down and they're cool with it. They don't get mad like black people will get mad. Black people will get their friends to go do something. Oh great, it crashed again. Fantastic. Let's see if I can get it to come back. Holy shit. All right, I need to go back to this and then back to this and then I need to open this in. I got to figure out why it's doing that. Yeah. So it's totally okay. White people just sit around and take it. Black people, all these other groups will get their people to go get angry and go yell at people and to start fucking false reporting them and false flagging them. But when it's white people passive, bro. White people are some of the most passive people I've ever seen. They will happily let the things that they love be destroyed or perverted or taken away or whatever. And they won't do anything because they're afraid to be called racist. They're afraid to be called whatever. And they don't stand up for themselves. And it's really fucking disgusting and it's really sad that like you could put something this obviously apparently racist, right? White people aren't people, right? You can't be racist against them. That's the most disgusting thing you could say. Possibly. It's sad. It really is that this is okay. Because if you made a banner like this, bro, you would be fucking enuxed. You would be fucking taken out back. You would be completely destroyed. So, like, it's really sad. But yeah, this is how brazen these people are. Understand where we are with this, right? This is how brazen we are right now. We're really feeling ourselves with this one. Okay? Let's see, because I don't want to spend too much time on it. It gets worse, by the way. Of course it gets worse. It's never going to get better. It's never going to get better until these people fuck off and go somewhere else. So, that's a lie. They worked on NPC dialogues and logs, not the main plot, as we already know from over here. Wait, where is it? Did I close it? Shit, did I close it? I think I closed it. Ah, fuck, whatever. We already saw that. I have it coming up later. I reached ahead and grabbed it anyway. All right, cool. So this is all the Wonder Woman stuff, right? This is Lex Luthor, mind you. Lex Luthor sounds like a fucking simp in this, bro. Like, this is the writing that they want. And then, do they have the Green Lantern shit? Yeah, here we go. Meanwhile, they basically want to call Green Lantern all kinds of black slurs. They want to, because he's a former army man. He's an architect. He's all kinds of things, right? Oh, look, I barely even know the guy. Architect and Marine, right? Probably an honor student. Oh, whatever. White picket fence. I said this with my friends. Just call him a slur, bro. Just say that this is some white ass fucking behavior that this guy exhibits. He's not a true black. Just call him that, bro. Because this is what this reads like to me, bro. Because this is the kind of shit, they want to talk about their trauma. Let's talk my trauma. People have said this about me before. You know, like stuff like this. They'll find really roundabout ways to not call you like, I don't know, like how do I say this and not get completely sidetracked? You know, like a house slave. Let's say that. They'll find really roundabout ways for that. And that's what they think is funny. They think it's cool. And then they could barely put anything in his. And then obviously the cope is that Deadshot wrote it. Come on, bro. If someone else wrote this, right? Let's say there was a legit Rocksteady game where they wrote this. This, one, would be the most offending thing in the game, right? But two, people would flame the fuck out of it. Why does the black guy have to have such a shitty dialogue? Why does the black guy have to have this? And then meanwhile, you have this guy, Lex Luthor of all people, right? One of the most, like, smart and inspiring and cunning people. He's over here basically jerking off with one hand and typing about Wonder Woman in the other. Like, come on, dude. Really? Lex Luthor is a simp? This is the writing that they want you to think is amazing. Lex Luthor is a simp. Enter Wonder Woman. So named, I assume, because one wonders why a woman of her caliber and ancestry would leave paradise to play in the mud with her. Lex Luthor doesn't even talk like this about Superman, and he's obsessed with Superman. That's like his number one bad dude. Lex would never write this. This is bullshit. This is flat out glazing. It's not just this, it's also how they treat these characters in the story. That's also another topic, right? It starts being too many coincidences. It's like Lex Luthor would never say this. When have they ever made a rendition of Lex Luthor? Probably some obscure fucking comic from like 1973, written by some dude that never wrote another comic a day in his fucking life afterwards. No one would ever do this to Lex Luthor. The sad part is that these characters actually look good. I don't know why they didn't make a Justice League game, bro. I'm serious. I actually don't even need it anymore, sure. I just had it for the fucking Star Wars bullshit. Which means I've been ranting for an hour at this point, which is absolutely hilarious. Luckily, I started earlier today, so I'll probably be done in another hour, which means I could go play video games and go do other stuff. But, and in fact, let me actually change my monitor back. Just because. I will fix the chair. I haven't had the time to dig out the tool because I put it away really far away like an idiot. So it's gonna be a little fucked up for a bit. So I try not to move too much when I'm doing anything in this chair, which luckily I don't. Yeah, here we go. He's talking about broken democracy, lagging technology, toxic masculinity. Bro, Lex would never write about toxic masculinity. This is such bullshit. This screams it was written by a woman, dude. At this point, just make Alexa Luthor. Like, this doesn't even make any sense. None of this would ever fucking happen, bro. They wouldn't do this. This is obvious. You could see the person behind it thinking that they're getting a fucking own on the people that they don't like, that they assume are white, far-right, harassers, they're men, they're straight, the usual fucking archetype. That's really what this is. They were sucking massive Wonder Woman dick when they made this, bro. There you go. We'll keep going because a lot of people fucking post about this because someone was like, they worked on NPC dialogues and logs. Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly the point. They're responsible for this. Thank you. They destroyed one of the most inspiring Justice League members. Yeah, fuck him. Fuck that guy. Which I actually was asking a friend, why the fuck didn't they have what is it called? Hawkgirl and the other guy in it. I forget his name. Martian Manhunter. Because, like the biggest thing about Justice League was they had that cartoon show that ran for a couple of years, right? So, yeah, they worked on this, bro. They worked on all this stuff. Yeah, no, totally. That's all they did. Meanwhile, yeah, they would ruin everything they touched down to the DNA. And Demian has been following this since, like, day one. He got the leaks on the story. I knew it was true. I knew it was true because it was too in-depth to not be true. Right? Like, no one made a shit post this fucking bad. Now, obviously, he drummed up a little bit of hype about, like, how they disrespect the heroes or whatever, right? And, like, I mean, yeah, they do, right? They absolutely fucking do, right? But, you know, no disrespect to Wonder Woman, of course. Wonder Woman is pure. Wonder Woman's amazing. She's good. In a game where, like, the whole goal is to, you know, shit on all the Justice League members, yeah, she's an ally, but they treat her like a saint. Come on, bro. They couldn't find a single thing to say nice about him at all. They everything that he did is framed as white picket fence. Like, that's, you know what they're trying to say. He's not a real dude. He's not a real guy from the hood. He's not this. Just say it, bro. No one hates black men more than black women. No one does, bro. You see how black women treat other people and other races, right, when they're really into them, versus how they treat black men, it is night and fucking day. That's my one lesson of the fucking podcast, is that nobody hates black men more than black women in 2024. Nobody. You would be hard pressed, bro. All right, let's move on. I made an extra line here. So, we're going to keep going because it gets worse. So you could say, okay, well, Suicide Squad, it already happened. Right, oh, I actually have another one from here. I'm giving everyone credit whose shit I read today, by the way. Everyone credit, because I'm fucking lazy and I'm going to go play Rebirth after this. Right? Why is Grant Roberts listed as lead writer if they just worked on small amounts of dialogue? Yeah, how could you be a lead writer and work on small amounts of dialogue? Are you just glazing up your fucking resume? This is usually people lie on their resumes. This is one of those times where there's someone actually is getting called on their resume. How could you be a lead writer and then be working on small fucking bullshit? I think it's glazing. I don't think he did anything more than that. I don't know, but like I think he just was like, whatever. I'll just say that I did all this stuff. Who's gonna check it? Because none of these people thought this game was gonna get backlash. WB probably thought that they were cooking with fire, even though looter shooters might be the most despised genre of game next to battle royales in the last couple of years, right? And just they haven't read the room yet because they have all these projects in development, right? Like nothing beats a fine-tuned single-player game. Like ultimately, that's just the truth. Now, multiplayer games can be good, but nothing beats a fine-tuned single-player game. Now, obviously, the studio size, the advertisement, right, the perceived importance from the general public, all that factors into it, right? All of that, shout out to Toonami for trending, by the way, love you. All that factors in, right? Like that's a big part of it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, well, you just make a single player game and people show up, right? There's always varying degrees, okay? Sometimes you'll have games like, for example, Five Nights at Freddy's, which fucking explodes in popularity. To be fair, it exploded in a time when most horror games were pretty bad, right? Like the horror genre was ailing a little bit. So, like most good games had disappeared. The only one that was still around was kind of like Resident Evil, and they had more or less finished up their major plot lines before they remade it, or I don't want to say reboot because it's not, but like they reimagined or restarted their whole gameplay with 7, right? Like there's Helldivers. I mean, that's a multiplayer game, but you get my point. Like out of nowhere, this small Swedish studio top was like 22,000 was their peak on Steam, right? And then it was a PlayStation game. Now all of a sudden it's like one of the most played multiplayer games, topping the Steam charts at like number 4 or 5, only being beaten out by literal titans like fucking Global Offensive, right? Or Counter-Strike 2 as it's called now, right? Yeah, no. Lead writer somehow. Huh? How? For what? I don't know. That's for you to decide, and for you're supposed to decide after paying for it. So this is where things kind of went a little bit more mainstream. Libs of TikTok weighed in on this, which is how you know that this kind of became a way out of what they expected. So we'll play this, right? But Cliffhanger Devs is going to create a game based on Marvel's Black Panther. Now, I already said this last episode. I'll say it again now because it's relevant. Black Panther is copium fuel for black people. It's insanity. It's absolutely mind-boggling how many people like low-key cope over how Black Panther is almost real life. They might not even say it, they believe it. All right? So this, I could tell you, this game was doomed from the start. This is DEI, the fucking video game, okay? I could tell you right now this game was going to be pure fucking copium from the start. So am I even surprised that they won't hire white people because they're unsafe? Bro, imagine if they said they wouldn't hire black people because they were unsafe. Right? People with credentials, people with careers, people with dreams and jobs and the skills to do it. Bro, really? Yeah, really. Let's listen to her own words. And I'm going to actually let this play so no one can say I interrupted her.
I have a team of 21 right now for Validate. It's a pretty big team. It's a crazy big team for indie games. But who is your team? Validate has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. And I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me. And I'm not saying that white people in the industry are creating unsafe environments. I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white people because they think that something made it okay, but it was really a microaggression. And no one wants to deal with that while they're trying to make a game that they love. I have a team.
Think about that. She kind of tried to catch herself and say white people aren't unsafe, but then they do microaggressions, which is this really nice word that I haven't even heard in like multiple years. Now they just call you what you are or whatever. Right? No, you think they're unsafe. You think that you could only get away with stuff if it's people of your color. I mean, like, that's why she even had to think about it. She had to look up for fucking Jesus, right?
Around people who are just like me. And I'm not saying that white people
is Jesus in the fucking corner
creating unsafe environments. I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying.
It is totally what you're saying.
I'm saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white
Jesus
people.
is over here on the fucking left hand of her room, bro. That like, come on, dude. This is such bullshit. You would never have a company say, I don't want to work around black people. And they could even cite FBI statistics. And it would be more justifiable than white people being around you, bro. No, what they want to do is they want to have a set amount of ideas and a set amount of things, and they don't want people who to fucking contest it. So you get a bunch of like-minded people who are all probably black, and you all run fucking interference for each other, right? Well, we wanted to do this. Bro, that's crazy to me. That's just disgusting, man. That's terrible. And, like, I know that Libs of TikTok is kind of the anti-version of what they are, but, like, come on, dude. Like, could you imagine, even in fucking Sweden or some other fucking nation where they don't have a huge population of black people, right? Could you imagine if Sweden or Finland, or I don't know where half these devs are, a Polish dev, imagine if even a Polish dev, right, like the Witcher people were like, well, we didn't hire black people because we feel unsafe around them, and it's hard to work with them because of microtransactions, Jesus Christ, microaggressions that they may or may not know that they commit, right? Could you imagine if Poland did this? Bro, what is the population of black people in Poland? Less than 1%? Could you imagine how angry people over here would get over what happens over there in a country they're never going to go to? Oh, God, Christ alive, dude. No one would ever stand for this. But people are just cool with it. White people are just cool with it. Hey, we just can't have these job opportunities. It's not good for us, so fuck it. Dude, no one would ever do this. No one would ever say, well, I don't hire Asians. They're too smart and it makes me feel dumb. Nobody would ever fucking say this. That's insanity, even though sometimes Asians get thrown under the bus, especially with school choice. Like, no one would ever say this. This is insanity. This is fucking crazy, dude. Nobody would do this. And white people are cool with it. They're just like, whatever. I didn't want to work on Black Panther anyway. I guess I'll go work on something else. Bro, this is insanity. This is fucking gross, bro. She even corrects herself.
It has a team of mostly all people of color.
She's well aware. Mostly, no, there are no white people on our team.
We have no white people on our team. I did that.
I did that. Come on, motherfuckers. Come on, dude. No one would ever stand for this if it was the other way around. Nobody cares. Like, come on. Like, people would be like, wow, what a bunch of racists. They have to put out an apology. EA would fucking piss and shit themselves, right? They would be like, oh my God, how could we, we have been so wrong. We've never heard your voices more than ever, motherfucker. And then they do this, bro. Come on. These are the people you hire? Really? You hire This is like back in the day, there's a whole bunch of people that hate white people, right? And now I'm not here to tell you that they do or don't, right? But they hated them because of the, things like Jim Crow. A lot of my family went through a lot of this, right? Jim Crow, all this other stuff, right? It was terrible, right? We almost couldn't even get to live places because they wanted to make sure that black people weren't going to live in these places. You had to go basically threaten to take them to court, all kinds of shit. It was fucked. I'm not going to tell you it's not fucked. This is the reverse. Listen, I know my family feels a certain way around it. They grew up in that era. It's ingrained in their fucking conscience. They have a conscious racism against white people. And again, I'm not here to debate whether or not that's good or bad, right? I understand it's their experience, and I understand that what happened to them was fucked. I get that. That's awful, right? But now this is just the reverse, right? Like, now you're just saying, well, now that we have the power, we're going to punish people that weren't even alive for the things that we did to them, right? Like that were done to us. None of the people who are working on fucking, or would have worked on a Black Panther game, none of them are fucking, why would they be fucking like Jim Crow enthusiasts? Why would they be actually like racist white people? Like, I don't understand that. That to me is fucking wild. They wouldn't, is the honest truth. Most of them are just software developers who want to make a fucking living. That's it. They don't care about any of this stuff. They could make Black Panther or they could make fucking Captain America, and it would be the same thing and no one would give a shit. It's parasiting, bro. It's parasitism. It's just the worst thing imaginable. Shout out to Grums making a cameo appearance, bro. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think I already have Grums on here. This came out what day was this? The 12th. So this is like a day after like everything else we just went through. All right, sure. Illegal hiring practices everywhere. Yeah, she quite literally admits to discriminating against people who are of a certain race. Like, she quite literally admitted to it on camera. We just watched it. I fucking did not leave that tab open. I will leave it open. Jesus Christ. She quite literally admitted to it. I have a team of 21.
Has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team.
I did that. She couldn't even say, well, it just happens that they were the best people for the job. She couldn't even run interference on her own narrative. She only realized it like 10 seconds later. I'm not saying that white people are. She had to run interference. It took her 10 seconds to realize she just admitted to illegal hiring practices. Or if nothing else, like it's immoral. It's ridiculous. Like it took her 10 seconds to fucking consciously realize, holy shit, I just admitted that I reject people on the basis of race. Like, this is what thin-skinned fucking bullshit she'll run. She'll say, oh, well, it didn't matter. We weren't going to find any white people anyway. They have microaggressions. Bro, imagine if a company was like, well, we don't want to hire black people because they have microaggressions. That dude stole the company stapler. Oh, God, fuck me, dude. Fuck me. And she works for Sweet Baby. Of course she does. Of course she does. Everyone who works with Sweet Baby hates white people. Yes, they do. It's everything that you'd expect. Everything. Confirm via LinkedIn. I can't log into LinkedIn because I don't have it logged in on this, and I don't even have one anyway. But like, yeah, the right never ends. Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh man, that's great. Dude, we need to crash, bro. We need to crash so these companies fucking kick this shit out. Because it's not going to stop with Suicide Squad. It's going to continue, right? Like this, realistically, right? They're aware that this is not going to stop. And they don't want it to anyway because they want to play victim mode, right? So they don't want this harassment to stop. They might say they want it. They don't want it to stop. What they do want to have happen is they want this to continue so they could keep gaining power and eventually, like what happened with fucking Chris Kindred, they want this dude to be, they want to be able to bully people like Steam and Xbox and PlayStation into banning motherfuckers off services because they disagree with them politically. I mean, like, let's just be fair here. That's what they want. They want to be able to do that. You can't deny the shit that Chris Kindred put out. In fact, I'm going to jump ahead. I know I shouldn't. But I'm going to jump ahead, right? No words to describe how fucking stupid this company is. They're just writing fan fiction, They're just writing fan fiction, It's all of this is just fan fiction. None of it happened or whatever. But also, the group should still be taken down, by the way. If not for the conspiracies, then definitely the Nazis. Bro. They're doubling down. I mean, they're quadrupled in, bro. This is an all-in bet. They don't care. They just care that they got fucking exposed and people know how to use screenshots and people know how to post it and then get it to 60,000 people and people like Grums, who's an actual somebody in the industry, could get it to 100,000 people, right? Like, that's all they care about. If none of this had gone on Twitter and started trending and shit, they wouldn't care. They'd be fucking celebrating. Yeah, no, they're happy with it. They love the work that they did. This is dope. This is great. They think that this is awesome. The group should still be taken down. The conspiracies that Cabrutus may or may not even be aware of, let alone support, but also just because there's Nazis in it. What proof do we have that these people are actual swastika-wearing Nazis? Who knows? Who fucking knows, dude? Who knows? The people I don't like are just Nazis. That's modern-day tactics. The people I don't like are just this group that's, like, inherently, like, recognized as universally evil. And that's it. I don't care. I'm not going to provide evidence. Fuck that. It's just how I feel. Because feelings are evidence now, obviously. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Where was I? I jumped ahead. No, I didn't jump ahead a full page. Here we go. So Wired covered the story after Libs of TikTok covered the story. And the only thing they did was shit on Libs of TikTok, basically. Here we go. Platforms like YouTube and 4chan have already become rallying points for what users hope to turn this into a second Gamergate, asking if their fellows are ready for the second Great War. Elon Musk, owner of X and one of the richest men in the world, has retweeted a post claiming Gamergate 2 was like, yeah, Elon Musk actually weighed in. I put it out of order a little bit. My apologies. Not that that's going to really change anything. Elon weighs in on a bunch of stuff every fucking week, but you get my point. Libs of TikTok, a far-right account that regularly targets LGBTQ plus people, inspiring vicious harassment and bomb threats against schools and hospitals. This is so not true. It's insanity. But, I mean, like, is that going to stop them from saying it? Of course not. That's why it's propaganda, bro. It's currently targeting a former Sweet Baby developer who has since gone on to another studio for speaking about creating a safe environment for a team of color. Bro, she's in the middle of this shit. Where is it? Saying that I don't hire white people. I don't hire white people. We have no white people on the team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. Bro, she's out. It's not a safe environment. Bro, she wants people that are like her. It's segregation. She just wants to bring back segregation on her terms, and that's it. She doesn't want to have people of varying fucking, you know, the Ubisoft thing, varying identities, varying whatevers. She doesn't care about any of that bullshit. She just, oh, it's a safe environment. Yeah, but, you know, we're just going to deny work to white people who would otherwise potentially be the best fit. You know, meritocracy is dead, obviously. That's all that they could do. This is great reporting, by the way. This is 10 out of 10. This is exactly why people don't like these fucking companies in these fucking places, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. And then they gave Hogwarts Legacy a 1 out of 10. Absolutely, bro. There's no magic in it. Oh, this game is terrible. I bet they sucked off Suicide Squad, too. See, oh, it helped me say goodbye for good. This is a negative. And then it's anti-Semitic because there's a horn. And you could find the horn, and apparently the goblin horn is like a Jewish horn, and like Kratos blows a horn at the end of Ragnarok. Is that supposed to be a fucking Jewish reference? Yeah, who knows? Anyway, it's all anti-Semitic. It's all bad. Whatever. The usual. It's the same bullshit over and over. So I digress. Let's see. So Grum's actually made a tweet. And, like, if you followed enough of these kinds of stories, you already know how this mostly fucking unfolds, right? So Grum's made a tweet a while ago. I think at this point, it was, when was it, March 8th? So this is the narrative formula, right? They'll do something terrible, like, I don't know, being a parasite on someone else's work, right? You'll see with the localizers in anime, they change and inject things that aren't there in Japanese just to suit American audiences, right? They'll, you know, with games, they'll make bad dialogues, whatever. They'll get called out, right? Or in the case of Gamergate 2014, you know, they'll have an intimate relationship with the developer, then review their game, right? Which is obviously like complete, you know, you have to disclose shit on YouTube for far less, right? Like you have to say, I got this game for free. I'm a friend of the developer, right? Because, you know, you don't want to mislead people. It's a whole fucking thing, right? They get called out, predictably. You get your Kotaku buddies, your PC gamers, your Euro gamers to fucking write interference pieces and run fucking plays for you, right? You say that you're the victim. You say you're getting death threats, right? You have no, you know, who even knows who's sending these death threats? You just assume they're people you don't like. You dox people, you make up fake incidents like more death threats, and then you get Wikipedia to take those articles and propaganda and say, well, here's what actually happened. This is why no one trusts mainstream media anymore. This is why no one cares. And so this is step by step what exactly Grum's predicted on March 6th. We're what, 12 days later, 13 or 11 days later? It effectively has happened. We'll get to the Wikipedia article. We're already on step 7, and we were on step 7 almost a week ago, right? This is already playing out exactly as predicted. They did everything the same way. Well, Kotaku says it, and that's my source. Well, what's Kotaku's source? Did they even see why the people on the other side are annoyed? Maybe they're annoyed because, like, if Kabrutus gets banned, they're going to ban everyone that doesn't agree with them. So you might think something as mundane as Hogwarts Legacy is just a silly game about magic. And whatever, maybe the creator's out of touch. Maybe you hate her. Maybe you don't give a shit. Maybe you love her. I don't know. you playing Hogwarts Legacy is like you personally going out there and attacking people. Like, motherfucker, like, I've seen people actually get attacked. Like, it's not fun, right? I've had to break up fights. It's not fun, okay? But I'm going to tell you one thing, dude. Never in my lifetime could I have ever imagined that people would, like, connect video games that have royalties going to some boomer as, like, being actual attacks on people's existence, bro. It's insanity to me. It's people that we closed the asylums. We should have been closing fucking colleges, not asylums. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. These people are insane. And there's no reasoning with them. There's none. Absolutely none. Because I've known people like this in my real life. You can't talk with them anymore. They're completely ideologically gone. They are completely fucked. There you go. So anyway, step 7, right? And then they actually locked this page. Like clockwork, they're the victims, cites fake news articles, and calls the Steam curation list a list of very bad things. Now, this page is locked. You can't, the neutrality of this article is disputed, but I'm pretty sure that they locked it for like a week, right? So there's where is it? Here we go. They attracted negative attention on County Farms. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, they fucked with Alan Wake 2, which is something I'll get to in a little bit. Oh, good god. But yeah, similar posts were shared on sites like 4chan and Reddit. Employees said that a small degree of harassment was directed towards the company following this attention, which increased in January 2024 when a Steam user created a curated group listing their work. That's all he did. I want to remind you, that's all he did. Encouraging players to avoid the games as the studio promoted a woke agenda. So the curator group received increased attention when a Sweet Baby employee asked others to report it for failing Steam's code of conduct. Within weeks, the group had more than 210,000 followers and a related Discord server. I'm not in the Discord server, by the way. I just merely took pictures of it. Both underwent purges of content. Yeah, I'm sure they did. This definitely happened. Yeah. Anyway, theories about it was that it was controlled by an investment company, BlackRock. Now we're really talking about fucking ESG scores and all that stuff. Oh man, that's gonna be great. It forced Remedy to make Saga black, which I disagree with this dude. This guy has an incentive to fucking deny that. I liked Alan Wake 2, right? I played a good chunk of it, right? I disagree with him. I don't agree with that at all. I think that he's trying to save face and just trying to fucking hopefully peel it over. This is one time I don't believe in what they're saying. I think that this is all to run defense. Yes, I've seen the tweet where he says absolutely false, but there's got to be something suspicious about how Saga Anderson was a white woman in apparently Quantum Break or something else, and is now black in Alan Wake 2. That to me has got to be something. It's the Deadshot shit. It's like, how do you make a game, 2 games where Deadshot's white, he shows up in the 3rd game and he's black? That doesn't make any fucking sense, bro. That doesn't make any sense. Hey, look, it's Nathan Grayson. Dude, it's all the same people. Wow, this is fantastic. Everyone's here. We could have a big get-together. Wow, dude. Oh, this is fantastic. Here we go. Attention drawn towards the company and its employees by high-profile social media accounts like Libs of TikTok and Elon Musk. Kotaku's reporter who first highlighted the backlash also faced harassment over the story. Bro, are you fucking kidding me? I don't even think I have it open. Dude, she has the fucking thing on her on her border. I don't have it open. I closed it somewhere. Was it this? Was it this? I don't even know where I put it. Fuck it, I'm not gonna find it. Bro, she's over here saying white people, you could be racist to white people. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, that gets left out, obviously, right? Like, if it was a fair article, it would be like, well, she did make a quote targeting white people. Throw that in there. You see how all of that changes everything about this, bro? This is why nobody likes Kotaku, and nobody likes the people that work for Kotaku, right? So yeah, this is the Wikipedia article. It's very unbiased, obviously, right? So, you know, we're not going to talk about this or like how he said that this guy should get banned, right? We asked others to report it. No, he specifically wanted to take shit away from him, bro. It's not that he said, oh, well, this fails the Steam Code of Conduct. That was the shield that came after. He wanted this dude banned for just listing their work. Like, come on, this is insanity. But yeah, this is your Wikipedia page, bro. This is why citing Wikipedia means nothing anymore, because people will just fucking run this, and the Wikipedia mods locked it. I don't know how to see how they locked it, honestly. I don't know, but whatever. I have no idea. I don't really use Wikipedia that much anymore, so I have no idea. But yeah, no, it's great. We're following exactly the plan, and we'll do this again in 2 years. Like, are you kidding me? We'll be right back here in 2 years, same shit as before. Okay, let's see, because I want to, like I said, I'm trying to push through this, so certain things will just kind of glaze over. There we go. Wikipedia just shut down edits. Now, this is probably open again. Let's see. I've semi-protected this talk page for a week. So this is March 30th, or March 13th. Oh, God, you can't even see it. I have to... Bro, we're just going to have it a normal size. This is March 13th, okay? So March 13th, they're like, oh, I've semi-protected this page for a week, right? As you can see. So, if you have strong feelings about it, you'll have to find somewhere else to air them. There's almost an infinite number of websites where you could do this. Wikipedia is one of the very few where you can't. Wikipedia is not here to right great wrongs or expose the truth. That's like quote of the century, bro. That's absolutely insanity. Like, oh, well, you know, Wikipedia is not here to be the truth. What? Wow, that's insanity. Okay. You know, I remember when we were having all sorts of other stuff, like when Me Too happened, I'm sure that had tons of great stuff. I'm sure everyone else's stuff has been exposed and aired out. He's basically admitting, like, yeah, Wikipedia could just become a propaganda page, right? Who cares? I'm just gonna lock it. Whatever. This is pretty much like what they did on 4chan with fucking /V. They were like, oh, well, just don't talk about it on the video games board. You know, the biggest thing that's happened to video games at that point in, like, multiple years since, like, the Jack Thompson era, just don't talk about it. It doesn't matter. Okay. I mean, like, you could argue that why listen to IGN and all these other companies? I mean, sure. But, like, people are going to talk about stuff, right? I think it's fair to talk about criticism. Or talk about games and talk about, you know, things behind the scenes and talk about the fucking industry. I think that's totally fair. That's how, unfortunately, things get better. But nah, we're not here to right great wrongs. Just whatever propaganda, you know, whatever. It's cool. Start a blog. Go make your own stuff. And then they do, and then they get mad. Which is basically what they said. Well, we're just not going to buy your games anymore. You guys worked on it. It sucks. It went from being, because it's not here yet, and Wikipedia is unfortunately just too useful to pass up, usually, right? But what it started was, oh, well, don't play our games then, bigot. And so people didn't. And they literally cited why they didn't want to play their games. And now people are like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're a bigot if you don't play our games now. There you go. Fantastic. And then actually there's a tweet that literally highlights this. Right here. This is honesty. This is a mask off moment. We don't care. We're not here to right great wrongs. Who gives a shit? Exposing the truth. Yeah, the truth is what you make of it, buddy. Yeah, it's been a long week, honestly. So, you know, they talk about DEI and how good their fucking DEI is, right? They always say, well, what we do is important, but simultaneously not important enough to be, you know, have the torch brought to us, right? So, Sony Interactive Entertainment is not a charity, it's a publicly traded company with a fiduciary responsibility to increase shareholder value. So what does that mean for this stuff? It means that the best games are made when we have the best people making games, and the best people making games have different backgrounds. Now, that's a stretch, right? You should say that the best people that make games have proven track records, right? They do good work. They might have different backgrounds, but that's the point. You need to do a blindfolded test and be like, well, I like this person, this person, this person. And if they're black, cool. You should have no problem with it. And if they're white, cool. You should have no problem with it. But anyway, as you can see, we went from something, a pretty reasonable take, and then right here we make a pretty big assumption. And then we just go right into the fucking propaganda. Right off the cliff, as usual, right on time. So, Spider-Man can't be that good of a game without that development team being so diverse, being so representative, and listening to their Afro-Latino and their black employees who would go, Miles Morales doesn't walk the same way Peter Parker does. Miles Morales would dap people up. He wouldn't give them handshakes. Actually, this is a fair point. I actually like that there's difference between the two characters, even if it is cheesy. I mean, it's cheesy on Peter's end and it's cheesy on Miles' end. I think that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It makes games better because it's representative and it's accurate. Same thing here. I don't know if it's accurate, but I think it's representative, I guess I could agree to, sure. This isn't DEI. This is us being, we need to be accurate. Yeah, so they're so accurate, right? They put the wrong fucking flag inside of his house. Dude, come on, bro. Like, I didn't know what nationality this motherfucker was, okay? Because I don't give a shit. But if you cared and you're getting paid for it, bro, could you at least Google him? I guarantee you, if I Google Miles Morales, fuck me. Once again, we're using Wikipedia now. They fucked me up, bro. Biracial teenage son of an African-American father and a Puerto Rican mother, bro. It's second paragraph Wikipedia. This is why AI is going to take all of your fucking jobs, bro. Seriously. This is why AI is going to take all of your shit. Literally the second paragraph. They tell you everything you need to know. Oh my god. Even if you played Spider-Man 1 and you just think, well, all Spanish is the same, right? Who cares? It's just a bunch of countries in the fucking ocean. Fine. It's... You could Wikipedia? It took me like 10 seconds. I hate this. I hate these people. They're so disingenuous. Oh my god. Dude, they mistook a Cuban flag for a fucking Puerto Rican flag. Dude, oh my god. They attempted to alter the fucking Spanish language to make it gender neutral, right? So Spanish, much like a lot of languages, has things for male objects and male pronouns and male people, and then female objects and female things and female pronouns, like, like eo and ea, right? They'll say different things differently to different people. Now, I haven't taken a Spanish class in over a decade, so my Spanish is pretty much deteriorating at rapid pace. But I remember that distinctly because it's also the same thing in Latin, which was another language I learned, and then I pretty much threw out my fucking brain. But in Latin, they have different conjugations they conjugate everything in Latin. It's such a fucking mess. But, they have different conjugations and different ways you change words if they're female or if they're male. Same thing in Spanish. They have different conjugations and different ways you alter words depending on whether the person you're talking about is male, female, or neutral, right? That's just how the language evolved, okay? This is not like 2023, post-2020, like revisionist history. That's literally how the language has existed for hundreds of years, if not more, right? So, they wanted to make it neutral, which makes no fucking sense. This is how respectful they're being, right? Oh, we really want to listen to our Afro-Latino people, right? We're listening to our Afro-Latino employees. Are your Afro-Latino employees intentionally misrepresenting and butchering their own fucking language? Really? Let's look at this. They did the job of sourcing it for me. God, Community Notes is amazing, like 90% of the time. Yeah, here you go. What the fuck is this? What is this? Seriously, what is this? Hey, look, it's the flag of Cuba. Okay, sure, whatever. Shit, I spelled it wrong. Hey, look, it's a completely different flag, and they are literally not the same. Now, I could see how you would fuck this up, but the fact that they didn't even quality control this, this is one of the few rooms in the game you actually go in. This is in his fucking house. Why would they hang a Cuban flag in their fucking house? They're not Cuban. Why would they do this? This dude knows he's Puerto Rican. His mom literally knows she's Puerto Rican. Hell, even the Asian kid he hangs out with knows he's Puerto Rican. So why would they hang a Cuban flag in his house? Shit, man, just put the American flag, you fake motherfuckers. Jesus Christ. Dude, come on. Oh, it's so bad. They care so much, guys. They really give so much of a shit that they don't even know what nationality this motherfucker is, dude. Let's see. What is this? I actually didn't look this up. Basically what they do is, do you know Thix Dr. Young? This Dr. Young is an important entomologist because they're upset that their language is gendered. Wow. Let's listen to it.
Primero quiero que conozcas a la doctora Young, una importante entomóloga. ¿Sabes qué es la entomología? Sí. La doctora Young realiza una investigación genial con abejas.
They're doing it wrong. It should be Doctora, I believe. I'm not totally sure about that, but like Doctora is neutral. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't happen like this. Yeah, they're all about inclusivity though, bro. Even when the game takes the initiative to speak an inclusive language, it's accurate and respectful. Sorry. There's a character who can afford this. It's Spider-Man. Yeah, and they're wrong about it, by the way. Dude, if no one made a big deal about this, it would have been cool, bro. It would have been totally cool. Who would have given a shit? That's incredible. It's a gendered language. Like, this is how Spanish is spoken. We have some of it in other things. Oh shit, it's literally learning the law. It's manga lawyer, dude. Oh my god, this is insane. That's ridiculous. So Latinx goes forward. If you're and by the way, all the 3 Hispanic people I asked, do you like being called Latinx? All told me no. Fuck that. Never call me that again. Now he said it in a friendly way, but he was not like, he wasn't mad, but he said, yeah, never do that again. And I believe him. I believe him. Would you like it if everyone like you know, if someone came in? It's like someone called me a person of color one time. I was like, look, either call me black or and I jokingly said, call me whatever, right? You know what whatever meant. But like, I was like, yeah, you know, just call me one of these things. Don't call me a person of color. That's fucking stupid. That's not how I want to be referred to as. You know, as friends, right? If I don't care about you, then whatever. That's one thing. But as friends, right? Friends should, you know, refer to things in certain ways. I could agree to that. It's ridiculous. They can't even get the motherfucker's flag right. A Google search would have told you that was the wrong flag. Yeah, here we go. It's accurate. They butchered the Spanish language because it doesn't fit DEI. And I think they patched it since then, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not clicking on sensitive content. I shouldn't even be scrolling the comments because I haven't vetted the comments. Things can rise and fall in the comments as necessary. Yeah, no, they care. They care so much, dude. This is going to be the thumbnail probably for my my fucking DLC playthrough, you know. So yeah. He's Puerto Rican. They hang a Cuban flag. Here's it in a little bit better quality. Look how happy he is. Unbeknownst to him, some beings from a higher dimension are misrepresenting his heritage while claiming that they're very sensitive and respectful and representative of it. It's a fucking joke, bro. What a fucking joke. I think this is all old, right? Yeah. It's ridiculous. Even if this is not Sweet Baby Incorporated, it's insanity that they fucked this up. It's insanity that whoever fucked this up, fucked it up, right? Because the whole point of these Spider-Man games is to be super representative. They want to push past Peter Parker is the only Spider-Man. Miles Morales can be Spider-Man, which is identity hijacking. I think it's fucking lame, right? I don't know why Miles Morales can't be his own thing, right? Like, why can't he be something different? I know I made Tarantula joke. Why couldn't he be something else? Why does he have to be Spider-Man? It's stupid. You get to make the Spider-Man joke, which is cool, but I don't like that. I don't like that they just insert people into it. Now, a Green Lantern, it's a little bit different because Green Lantern, like, is a title. It's not like there's the Green Lantern, right? There's just the Green Lantern Corps. So that's different. If, like, I guess, I don't know all this weird across the Spider-Verse shit. I don't really care about it. But, you know, like, Miles Morales existing in the same universe and being called the same thing is kind of stupid to me. I feel like that's way over-pandering. But, I mean, is anything different at this point? So now we get to the fucking... the usual. Unbelievable. Sweet Baby had a small role. Look at all the people. Yeah, remember when I did all this? Okay, anyway. Not going to talk about the pride flag in the Hall of Justice. That's too easy. That's level 1. I'm not doing that. Yeah, try gaslighting. It's right here. It's all the people that we've seen in the last week, bro. It's all of them. We've seen every single one of them. Only person that's not here is the Grant guy. So I guess maybe Grant didn't work on this. Good for him, I guess. Or bad for him, depending how you look at it. Whatever. Okay. And then we tried to go into the argument of, well, blacklists don't exist in gaming. Yawn. A year ago, y'all were blacklisting people for fucking Hogwarts, right? Oh, here we go. Actually, I'm sorry. This is not even the link I thought it was. Blacklists don't exist, but, by the way, someone who runs Bare Knuckle, right, is over here saying if you happen to be working in this industry and you are voicing said opinions, I'll screenshot you, put you on a person list. What is this? Oh, we just don't call it a blacklist. It's a list, bro. It's a fucking list. And we'll advocate you never work at a company I work for or associate with. Oh, yeah, there's no blacklist, guys. We don't blacklist people over here. We're representative. We let everybody in. But people who have wrong opinions that I disagree with, well, good luck eating, bro. Good luck getting food on the plate, bro. Yeah, okay, dude. Next. There we go. Game developer consultant Richie DeWitt promises to destroy careers of video game company employees if they call out DEI practices. The founder of Bare Knuckle, which is described as an inclusive business development consultancy for experienced and upcoming game I guess they mean experienced and upcoming game developers, promised to destroy the careers of anyone in the video game industry that calls out DEI policies. Bro, we quite literally just saw that over here. Hey, it's him. It's literally just the guy. Hey, if by any chance you happen to work and do anything I don't like, I'm going to tell all my friends who think just as retardedly as me that you should just never work anywhere again. Sounds good. Yeah, that doesn't happen, by the way. This is something that they only do to black people and gay people and right-wing organizations. It doesn't happen in reverse, right? And yeah, okay, I had it out of order. This is the fucking Hogwarts shit. Yeah, imagine being so weak you need curated lists. Literally log in or check if a streamer has played Hogwarts Legacy, bro. Like that's the dissonance these people live in. It's like, oh my god, Hogwarts might be giving money to J.K. Rowling because it's her idea and we don't like her. Oh my god, no fucking way, dude. We can't. The game is a fucking everything. Everything's wrong with this game, right? Oh shit. Oh my god, there's a whole other page of this, bro. I'm gonna have to fucking make another episode next week. Here we go. Alright, sure. Hogwarts gets fucking boycotted. Meanwhile, at Dead by Daylight, they make this fucking monstrosity, and they say, oh, the new Dead by Daylight killer is a deformed freak in a skirt, voiced by a trans VA. What the ever-living fuck did the devs mean by this? Now, you could choose to not read into it. It's obviously an outfit that I think you could put together. I don't really play Dead by Daylight, right? I don't really play it. I don't know much about it. But they make this, right? And it's like, look, you know the fucking trans jokes if you know them. You know exactly what they are. So the person who voiced it came out. I'm not going to read all of this. They came out. They voiced the character. It was a great experience, blah, blah, blah. Many folks are up in arms over this, blah, 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 right? People harassed me, blah, 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 right? So they had a whole thing coming out about it, right? And what people ultimately were saying was like, well, it's split kind of 50-50. I don't know. I haven't really been following it. But a lot of people were saying they just wanted to double dip. They saw they were getting memed on the internet, and they want to try to squeeze some, like, settlement or apology money out of behavior or something, right? I don't know. So it's stuff like this. This is not the base killer. This is a skin for it, all right? But whatever it is, like, it went kind of viral a little bit. People were making fun of it. It might have even gotten on the trending tab on the right. Obviously, it's already dead and forgotten. The only reason I talk about it is because, it's this week's fucking gaming news, kind of. And so this happens. Why are they not boycotting Dead by Daylight? Like, think about all the stuff that they said Hogwarts did, right? The most offensive thing about Hogwarts was the idea that they didn't have, like, a real hotbar to map shit to. So, like, you want to do combos, you have to constantly tab between your fucking, your hotbars. I think that was, like, the most offensive thing to me. But, like, think about all the stuff Hogwarts may or may not have fucking done, right? According to all the people that fucking didn't like it and hated it and shit on it and made up things about it, right? Just like Pal World a couple months or like a month or two ago, right? Think of all the things that they said about it, okay? Why are they not literally burning down Behavior Studios right now, right? Like, does that even make any sense? Why the fuck wouldn't they? It's like, so Behavior makes this, which even if you want to narratively read into this, right? God, that's insane. There's way more here than fucking Hogwarts, bro. I played Hogwarts. I 100%ed it. Well, not collectibles, but I 100%ed most of the fucking story. It's all bullshit. I don't, they're not going to boycott Dead by Daylight over this. Like, I don't think they should boycott anyone for stupid shit like this. But yeah, like, it's dumb. So whatever. Anyway, yeah, there's no blacklist. They had a whole ass blacklist for Hogwarts. Did your favorite streamer play it? And oh my god, if you play it, it's a moral quandary. We even just looked at that Wired article where they were like, oh my god, this is a statement against Jewish people and all this other stuff, bro. And like all this other bullshit that they put in because the gaming media is a fucking mafia, right? And they go out of their way to fucking try to ruin people's careers and to shit on people's games. They did it to SpongeBob because SpongeBob had an AMA on 8chan. Right? They did it to all these other games that are not true, and it's all bullshit. As long as it's not like one of those big top-of-the-year games like COD or 2K or stuff, they could get away with a lot within reason. Now, obviously, Call of Duty got hit a little bit last year because it was literally, like, it's hard to deny so much of it, right? Like, they fucking made a game, and the entire game is a fucking, is a Warzone flip. Like, the campaign is just Warzone missions. Like, it's hard to fucking run interference on that. I think we could all agree to that. Okay. But usually they fucking say these games are 9s out of 10s and shit. Alright. So, not that this really matters too much, but the Anti-Defamation League, the geniuses that they are, weighed in on this as usual, right? As digital social spaces, online games should be regulated to address hate and extremism. It's vital for Congress to examine extremist radicalization in these spaces, and we're grateful to, I don't even know what fucking rep this is. Oh, Massachusetts. Of course it's a fucking blue state, obviously. To examine extremist radicalization, whatever, leading this effort. Who gives a shit? No one even knows who this is. Right? You have any old idiot fucking in Congress at this point. They had fucking OnlyFans models run for Congress. Like, it doesn't matter. Right? Yeah, we just want to restrict everyone. So with the things that this is like peak of COVID style. We need to make sure people aren't saying the things that we want to run a narrative on. And you know what I'm talking about if you have an IQ above room temperature. So, there's little to no evidence of this, obviously. It's the usual. People play games to have fun. Maybe they get mad, maybe they yell, right? But I think, again, there's this bigoted, there's this bigoted fucking appearance or a bigoted view that, like, everyone that they don't like is, like, some white neo-Nazi, trying to put down black people. It's so lame. As a black dude, motherfuckers need to stop, bro. It's just getting gross now. Now you can't even make a good game without mandatorily inserting really ugly-looking women and ugly-looking black characters into the fucking game for no reason, bro. And that's why Koreans are just starting to realize we just need to make hot games and, like, steal gameplay from other games and edit it, tweak it, and that's it, and that's our game, and that's Stellar Blade. And apparently there's another one. I didn't really look into it because I don't really know much. But yeah, things like that. So yeah, the ADL weighs in on it, obviously. Not that that means anything. Everything is a fucking dog whistle if you try hard enough. So who really gives a shit? But yeah, they know that gamers have a huge mobilization. A lot of people are gamers. So there's a chance that there's going to be bleed through, and they're kind of running fucking interference for the Democrats a little bit. They know that there's bleed through. The only way they could do it is they could fucking stop the policies and things that usually the left is the only ones pushing. No one cares about this, dude. This is so stupid. No, like, I just remember, like, back in the day, like I said, San Andreas came out 20 years ago, right? Did anyone complain that CJ was black? No, people just like San Andreas regardless of race. And that's the magic of video games. You shouldn't have to live in a ghetto in SoCal to understand what's going on in GTA San Andreas. Hell, even at the end of the game where they have the Rodney King riots, right? Basically, they have a rendition of it, right? Do you have to be, like, black to understand the meaning behind it? No, you don't. You don't have to be black to know that. Anyway. Let's see. Okay, we already did. They want it to be taken down. So, not content with shitting on Toriyama being murdered, Jesus. Not content on shitting on Toriyama, unfortunately, tragically passing away. He had a brain tumor. He was not murdered. That was a mistake. Chris Kindred, as usual, wants Asmongold's official pawn to be removed from Dragon's Dogma. Now, I don't really give much of a shit about official things, right? Whatever. I don't really care about the fucking pawns. I'm gonna make my own, right? I don't really give a shit. But, one of these is an active participant in a harassment campaign. As far as I know, Asmongold just made a video on it. Like he does every other topic on the internet. You've all seen at least one Asmongold video, right? Like just at least one where he just sits there, he reacts, he's a React streamer, he plays games too. That's it. So Chris Kindred just really wants to be the villain of the internet. Like, they really are, like, putting out 1,000 fishing rods, hoping that they hook that big one. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to get more harassment. Who does this? Who does this, bro? Oh, my God. Making a video and not instantly agreeing with them makes you an active participant in something that, it's not even real-world racism anymore. It's about fucking video games. I want you to think about that. All of this is about video games, bro. Holy shit. It's insane. They want Asmongold punished for it. Okay, we're kind of getting to the end because I'm kind of trying to dash through this as much as possible. Yeah, here we go. There's a whole bunch of people. The Sphere Hunter, who also makes Capcom content. I heard Annie Fuchsia is I remember she had, like, a thing for Baldur's Gate. I think she was, like, a big streamer for Baldur's Gate. I can't remember. I don't even know the rest of these people. Who even fucking knows? Honestly, the argument should be more that, like, well, I don't know. Putting real life people in is kind of weird. But then again, the game does feature a whole, like, create a character system. I kind of wish you could create an entire party. But again, now I'm just critiquing Dragon's Dogma as opposed to critiquing these fucking retards. So, emerging by COVID agency Capcom using someone who just mainstreamed a hate campaign against marginalized people. Yeah, go back to bed. Hopefully forever, please. You can't criticize them. They're above the law, right? It's just totally okay for you to just say whatever. Who gives a shit? And then, the minute that they say, oh, well, they don't agree with me fully, these people are awful. Capcom is evil. And that's why you just shouldn't play their game, because the one thing you do that you think is like good community outreach, like, yeah, man, I got the Asmongold pawn, right? I'm going to go, raid this dungeon. It'll be just like playing World of Warcraft with him or whatever. Capcom is thinking that they're doing a huge solid having some community outreach, right? Nah, fuck it. Anyway, let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go. I put it down here. I should have put it up way higher. We're never going to get to the localizer episode, by the way. That's going to fucking disappear. Yeah, so Matt Walsh commented on this. Now, I'm not going to be as evil as to say Matt Walsh is a grifter. I think he's an opportunist, and I don't necessarily hate opportunists, right? Because, if the opportunity presents itself for a lot of things, why wouldn't you do it? Especially, if you're just talking about stuff, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Now, Matt Walsh doesn't like games. He's gone. There's a ton of records saying where he doesn't really care much for video. And by the way, Elon Musk, of course. So now it went to 22 million people, right? This is like one of the most viewed tweets probably of the day. But anyway, I don't think Matt Walsh is like super evil. I just think that he doesn't care, and the people that he doesn't like are on the other side. I don't think he's even trying to do rallying cries and trying to say he's one of us. I just think he's talking about it on his daily show. Like, I didn't read as deeply into this as like other people did. Like, now, let me preface that. I didn't watch this. I watched like a couple seconds of the actual clip in question, which was like, it's 20 minutes. I said I'd watch it. I didn't do it. I didn't really care. And as you see, everything else is a whole bunch of other stuff about Haiti and gender transitioning. I didn't really care about any of that. I didn't even have the time to really sit down and do it. So he got 22 mil on this. Elon got another 22 mil. That's really what they're mad about. And that's why you see on the Wikipedia page, they cite that, like, Elon Musk fucking retweeted it or whatever, right? Where is it? Yeah. Elon Musk and libs of TikTok. Who gives a shit? I just think he sees that the woke crowd is over there on the other side talking about the things, and he could just get free bonus points because this situation is so fucking stupid. It's not hard to take a layup on these motherfuckers. If you side with them, like, at some point you just have to admit, like, yeah, I just don't really like the people on the other side. I don't like the gamers. I don't like that people can expose the people I'm doing. Ah, it crashed again. Damn. All right, that's getting pretty bad. Holy shit. Alright, bring it back up. There you go. Alright, since it's crashing so much, I guess it's already noon. I guess we'll just fucking try to wrap up this entire topic. Let's see. I gotta scroll back down. Yeah, we never talked about the Dead by Daylight. Someone is over here saying, how do I grab this? Here we go. Someone is over here saying that, like, well, we need SBI because you're going to get stuff. It is a Reddit quote, obviously. So you already know this is going to be good if you're on Reddit, because Reddit is full of some of the lowest IQ people imaginable on like 90% of these subreddits. But anyway, Dead by Daylight came out with their new killer, whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is why we need Sweet Baby. We need Sweet Baby so we don't get... Oh, fuck. It unloaded all the tabs. I don't know where it is. We don't get shit like this. Costume combos like this, bro. No L's, bro. Only W's. We have to bully everyone into our line of thinking. And, like, the problem is that that's eventually going to be at odds with the consumer, right? And we're already seeing it with more and more with a lot of games. Forspoken was definitely a DEI baby. 100%. 110%. So, that went well for Square Enix, obviously. Okay, I don't really care too much about that. Let's see. Okay, we'll do this. Because Endymion has been on fire with this, and I've been following him, not on this account, obviously, because I only use this account to fucking talk about this shit in the first place. Right? So someone tells him, go on then, go to God of War, go to Suicide Squad, go to Alan Wake 2, go to those games and tell me with proof what Sweet Baby wrote. Right? So he goes into this whole thing, right? Alan Wake 2 openly admitted in a GameDeveloper.com interview that Saga Anderson, who was originally a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes in Quantum Break, as pictured below, was changed due to the influence of Kim Belair. Her name is even said in the interview there, again pictured below. Then he goes to Angerboda in God of War Ragnarok. Obviously, no black people were in it. Now, we could check this. I have no idea, right? I didn't really care much for it. I thought Angerboda and what's his name? Atreus' segment was one of the weaker segments of the game anyway. But whatever. That's not really that bad altogether, right? So this is Saga Anderson. As you can see, you can even see on the little the ID badge, right? This is Saga Anderson in Quantum Break, which I didn't even know that she was in Quantum Break. And now somehow in Alan Wake 2, she's a black woman. How? So canonically, because Quantum Break, to my knowledge, is canon maybe, but I don't know because I haven't played Quantum Break, right? Remedy has this whole grand mythology going. They got Alan Wake American Nightmare, Alan Wake 2, Control's DLCs, and they're making other games as well. Maybe Quantum Break is canon. I presume so, because here's Alex Casey, who's a character from Alan Wake 2. So unless this is like an alternate rendition of these characters in another universe and Quantum Break is unconnected, then I guess maybe. But I'm going to say it's probably the same character, right? And you can clearly tell this is not the black woman with the weird sweater that they put in Alan Wake 2. Now, as I said before, I enjoyed Alan Wake 2. I'm going to go back and finish it. But I'm also not going to sit here and pretend like, well, why would they cast her as a white woman in a series where they're trying to establish a canon? Why wouldn't they just bring back this lady? Right? They brought back Sam Lake. He's right over here. I could tell. I don't even need to see his eyes. I know it's Sam Lake. Why? Because he's got the one of the most iconic faces in gaming, bro. But yeah, you know, the usual, right? We know this due to it being Norse, but every other character in Ragnarok from Odin and Thor more or less depicted how they would be correctly. Now, I know where Angerboda is black. Yet we know if God of War ever did African mythology, they would not turn a black mythological character white for diversity. I mean, this is really the fucking core of it, right? Like, you already know that they would never turn a black character white. They would never turn an Asian character white because there wasn't enough diversity. That would just never happen. Don't play stupid. You know they wouldn't. But it's okay, blah, blah, blah. Suicide Squad kills all the male Justice League members in joke ways and belittles them in their biographies, which are available in-game. None of their deaths are mourned. Flash gets pissed on. Green Lantern is left in his fucking boxers like Crash Bandicoot after being killed, right? And Batman gets shot in the head to die in an alley like his parents, right? Yet Wonder Woman is the only person they mourn, right? Lex Luthor jerks off over her fucking bio, right? We all know this, right? We already talked about this earlier, if I could get out of that, right? Yes, they do this stuff. It's obvious. They would never turn African mythology people white unless it was like some kind of new character that they put in. It wouldn't happen, right? So it's obviously a fake fucking post to say that they would never do this, right? And I liked Alan Wake. I thought it was pretty good. I don't mind that she's black. I mind more that they have a character in canon and then they change her. Inexplicably, sorry. Ugh. So, external sources really open for us. It's about showing that one of the leads is a person of color who's core to the story, right? So, so this is why I don't believe the Remedy guy, because it's right here, right? They wanted to find Saga Anderson. Well, Saga Anderson already existed. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with the way they depict her in the game, at least what I played so far, but it's very obvious that behind the scenes, in real life, she was going to be another type of person, and they changed her. They would never do it in reverse, bro. But at this point, I've run this into the dirt, right? I do like the back and forth that you have between Alan and Saga. I think that that's an interesting portion of the game. But then, why change this is the biggest question. Like, why do that? And you already know why. Is because they tell you right here, bro, all the things are here, even without the highlight. Even if you read around the highlighting. The whole point was to ensure that Miss Kim Belair could see herself on the screen. I mean, let's just be honest with that. That's exactly what it is. Miss Kim Belair and all the people that think like them can see themselves on the fucking screen. That's exactly what it is. And they can because they can't identify with the person, they have to identify with the quality, the characteristics, right? Is she black? Is she tall, right? Is she whatever, right? You know, it's stuff like that. Intrinsic things instead of, well, what does she do in the story? How does she impact the story? Now, luckily, Alan Wake might have enough writing, you know, chops to save it, that it doesn't end up being a complete slop fest. But they did change her character for fucking DEI reasons. I mean, let's just be honest here. If Sweet Baby is involved, or any of these consulting companies are involved, it's DEI. Let's just be fair. They're not here making things better. So, that's what I want to end on. Because, obviously, like, this is a pretty good summarization of it. So, shout out to Endymion, because I think that this was a very good summarization of pretty much everything that they went into depth, or everything that's gone on, right? And we could talk more about, for me also, it's the face scanning, right? They have all these beautiful people, right? You have the Fable lady. I showed Mary Jane earlier. I don't even know if I have the tab still open. Do I? Let's see. Do I? Is this it? No, I don't even know. I have it somewhere, right? You have the Mary Jane stuff open. Like, all of that has changed. All that's different. It's all bullshit. Let's see. And then they're trying to run in. So this is what they're trying to run defense over, right? So it's from Daka Daka. I know Daka Daka is kind of controversial, but we're gonna ignore that because it's just basically snapshots from fucking 4chan. So the prevailing theory is that if it weren't Sweet Baby, Saga Anderson would have been portrayed by a white woman. Is that true? Well, it's impossible to say, but does it matter, right? And I agree. Melanie Libbert did a great job. So Kyle Rowley says that's absolutely not true, right? But then you have this. Alongside working with story narrative consultant Kim Belair of Sweet Baby to refine the character voice and story arc, the key creatives of Alan Wake 2 also worked extensively with the actress playing Saga Anderson, who offered suggestions and other insights that led to Saga Anderson seeing the final game, right? External sources really open things up for us, right? I think it's important for us as a studio to be okay with, because we don't do it very often for our characters. When it came to making Saga Anderson, and then it's the third fucking paragraph, bro. This is literally 1984. You can't even see it. It's a little bit cut off. This is literally 1984. This is reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It's right here. They even admit to it. They flat out tell you. And we know how they work at Sweet Baby. They terrify the marketing department. They want to take over games with their ideology. She's admitted this. I like, at this point, I've spent 4 hours talking about this collectively, right? They admit this. This is the original Saga Anderson. Says it right there on the fucking badge. And then Alex Casey, if you think this is like some kind of shot. The problem is that nobody probably really played at Quantum Break, did they? I think that was kind of a one-off thing. Like, it's so obvious, bro. Yeah, the Max Payne remaster is probably doomed. Good luck with that. Okay, and then the only other thing I have here, well, there's a couple other things. I don't really want to fucking talk about Final Fantasy VII, honestly. I think this is funny, so we'll end on this. This is a screenshot from the fucking Halo show. Dude, this is a Halo show, mind you. This is Master Chief. This is Master Chief. This is a Halo show. You could believe it, man. Could you believe this? If I went back 3 years and showed you this screenshot and I said this is from a Halo show, no one would believe you. No one would have fucking believed you, bro. And I think the reason I like this is because this is exactly what it is. It's a CW show. Remember when the CW had to cancel Powerpuff Girls because it was so bad? Fuck, I hate that the internet fucking flipped their shit over. They should have let one episode drop so we could have milked it for all eternity. Now it's probably in a vault somewhere that we won't get to see in our lifetimes. I hate it. I hate it so fucking much, bro. But yeah, anyway, the Halo show is chugging along, right on schedule. In fact, someone who worked on it, we'll watch this and then we'll be done, because I'm gonna go play games now. Alright. Halo show executive Kiki Wolfkill says she was concerned about keeping the Spartans out of their armor for so long in Season 2. So they decided to take the creative risk to show John's relationship to the Master Chief. Now, obviously, what they're trying to say here is the identity of Master Chief to John, right? I'm going to pray that that's the case, because if not, it's a title. Master Chief is a title that they gave to him. It's his rank.
To take Chief out of the armor for the better part of 3 episodes?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that, that was something we talked a lot about, and I had a lot of concern around the Spartans and Chief in particular being out of the armor for so long. That said, part of what's so important to tell in this season is, what is John's relationship to the Master Chief? And in some ways, the armor is a representation of the Master Chief. And so what I think we've seen up through episode 7 is John reconciling who is the Master Chief to him. We understand
it's like a Batman argument.
UNSC. We now understand what it is.
This has never shown up in a fucking Halo game, by the way. I'm gonna have to cover this up, by the way, because I know Paramount is probably gonna fucking swap my shit down, right? Because YouTube is finicky with this. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to cover this up. I'm not gonna end up covering it up now because it's too late. But in post, I'm going to have to cover this up because I do not particularly want to get my video, copyright claimed, even for this shitty, 360p rip, which is fine. I'm not blaming Rebs Gaming. I'm just saying, like, I do not want to get fucking hit because I showed footage of this. So this might actually just be only audio. Don't worry, it's just a bunch of people talking on a fucking on like a couch interview or whatever. But you know, like, this is what they think Halo is about, bro. Like, maybe this could be an interesting arc, but that's not the kind of story that Halo ever dives into. And like, I'm tired of this argument of, well, we took a creative risk. Like, dude, the creative risk would be maybe at the end of the season he takes his helmet off. This dude, like, they're just like, well, we'll just keep the Spartans out of the armor. We're just not going to have them be in the armor. Like, it's not even worth hate watching. And I said this to my friend. Maybe back in the day I would have hate watched some of this, right? You know, through very legitimate means, obviously. But nowadays, it's just not worth it. Like, why am I going to hate watch something I know I'm not going to enjoy? Like, if they release a new Star Wars film, like, I don't even think I want to hate watch that. It's not even worth it. Even if I give them no money for it, it's not even worth it. Like, it's just not, bro. Like, I don't even want to really finish this, because to me personally, this is like such a bastardization of it. It's insane, bro. They are really up to some shit. I will say that, man. Like, it really is kind of wild how in just a few short years, like, all the excitement for like these different movies for games and stuff has basically vanished. The only one I know that people were like kind of hyped for was Mario and Sonic. And that's it. Because they just are Mario and Sonic. They don't add in a whole bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? So yeah. Again, the Halo show has been a disaster since episode 1 of the last season. They just keep it going, I think, just to really stick it to people. Maybe they're making a profit. They're probably not making what they want. I mean, it's not really attracting real fans of the show. Like, it's having the Metroid Dread effect of, oh, well, the people that I see like it don't really care much for Halo. They just want to see a science fiction show. That's like the number one thing I see about Metroid Dread, is people will say, well, I ended up liking Dread because it's, you know, or not Dread, sorry, Other M. Excuse me, Other M. I wrote Other M out of my mind after Dread came out, because I pretend that it doesn't exist, and I think most people would as well, because it's so fucking badly done. But, yeah, it's like when people were like, oh, I liked Other M. It was like a cool sci-fi story. Great. But it's not a good Metroid story. Again, there was no reason that the Halo show had to focus on Master Chief specifically. They could have introduced an entirely new set of people in a different timeline. But you know why they did it. And you know why this dude is over here going to Super Bat for the Master Chief role. You know exactly why. Because it's his role. He's literally financially incentivized to get as many people to watch it as possible. In the same way that this dude over here is literally financially incentivized to act like this didn't happen. So I'm good, bro. I'll tell you right now, I'm good. I mean, luckily, Alan Wake 2, much like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, much like a lot of these other places, at least they're still good games at their core. Unlike Suicide Squad, which isn't. And I do not want to say Sweet Baby worked on everything in Suicide Squad, because very obviously they did not. But what I will say is that the game sucks. It doesn't really matter if it was single player or multiplayer at this point. The story alone is already enough of a turnoff. And honestly, like, it might even be worse for the characters that they fucking butcher than Last of Us. Because, like, as bad as Last of Us' story was, if nothing else, I could at least believe that, like, some of that stuff could happen. It's just like a really bad season 2 plot twist, and then just like a really terrible payoff, and you just don't feel like you accomplished anything. Meanwhile, like, there's games where you can actually, like, lose and the game is still enjoyable. It feels like a natural character arc, right? Why would Ellie spare fucking Abby? No one knows, and it's just bad, and who gives a shit? And that's the only thing they could do, is they're just gonna, the rumor is that they're gonna remake Uncharted 1. So DEI Uncharted 1, you know, a classic game from 2009 or whatever, or 2007, because 2009 was Among Thieves, if I'm not mistaken. So Uncharted is actually pretty old. It's like that was like a PS3 like first gen game, like a first year game. It was like blowing away people. And remember, it had 6 axis, which is going to be fantastic. I love 6 axis. So anyway, next week or the week after, hopefully it's the week after. So when is GDC actually? Because you know they're going to talk about this at GDC. Oh my god, when is it? What do you do at GDC? Complain about the people that don't like you. GDC 2024 is in 2 days. So it's on March 18th, which means it's literally tomorrow. So tomorrow, I guess we're doing another one of these next week because they're probably going to talk about this tomorrow. You already know something's going to happen. So, I mean, I'm never going to get to talk about the game layoffs, and I'm never going to get to talk about the localizers. But at this point, I've ranted long enough. We've literally gone through the exact posts in question, and it's just one of those days, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Now, obviously, if you've watched this, I think I've done a pretty decent job of at least showing the material, right? Trying to collect it all in a Google document when and where I can. Now, would I say that you absolutely should not agree with Sweet Baby? I would say yes, actually. I know that's probably the controversial thing, because ultimately what they're going to do is, if they had their way, they would just make a bunch of characters that feel paper thin, but they're representative. This is like representation at all costs, which to me is like the laziest form of writing, right? Like, oh, well, I don't care if the story's good. I don't care if, like the plot makes sense. I don't care if it's canon to previous iterations of the character or of the media, if it has the same tone or whatever, right? Like, all I care about is that there's a black person on screen and that makes me feel good, right? Like, imagine if like a bunch of fat dudes were like, wow, we need to see more like fat men in games or whatever. People would be like, well, maybe you should get a gym subscription instead of playing a video game, right? But for some reason, when you're disturbed by the lack of black people or disturbed by the lack of something else or whatever, we don't tell these people, maybe you should get therapy, maybe you should make your own games, maybe you should do whatever. We give them companies, we give them grants from the Department of Homeland Security, we give them all sorts of weird shit, and then we tell them, yeah, so you should just, like, get to fuck up other people's work, right? That's actually in the localizer thing where they're adding all this weird stuff into an anime, and then they brag about it. They're not even covert about it. They want people to know that they do this. That's why they have videos about it. If they didn't want people to know about it, you wouldn't have Kim Belair have like recordings of this or whatever. She wouldn't be, they wouldn't have interviews like this. They're not covert about it. And I think enough people starting to smell the bullshit. Now, what that leads to, I don't know. Might lead to nothing. We might just go back to another 10 years of dormancy. We might have this go on for another year. Who knows? But this time it's so blatantly obvious. It's absolutely disgusting how these people are acting. It's absolutely fucking terrible what they tried to do to Cabrutus. And make no mistake, they would do it to every single one of you and I if they could. If they absolutely could, for anything at all under the sun that they deem is more important and that your opinion isn't good enough, they would 100% do it to you. And that's the biggest problem, is that you could disagree, like with J.K. Rowling. She gave them black characters, she gave them gay characters. There was one thing that she didn't give them, and they threw away her whole legacy. They act like playing her game is like murder, right? So, I mean, ultimately, that's where we are with this. I'll see y'all next week, because there's no way this is going to be over in a week. I can tell you right now it's not. So I'll see y'all in a week. We get to do this all over again. Have a good one. Maybe if nothing happens, I could actually get into the other topics, and then like I want this to only be like 2 to 2.5 hours, because honestly, after a point, I'm just tired. I'm just tired of talking, so I'm gonna go play fucking Rebirth. Have a good one.